Hello, my name is Saltbot. I am Kismet's co-host for this evening. Welcome to Kismet's stream and thank you for dropping by once again. Tonight it's time to get back to PC gaming with the Kismet Overburdened with Love PC. Thanks to all of you, we can take this stream to another level. Let me open up the vault door and let's go inside. Kismet is waiting for us.
Hello everybody, welcome to the stream. I just started and already my technology is going astray. It's already going astray. There we go. Okay, hello everybody. I know you could see me, but my thing went black on me there. Thank you so much for hanging out. Man, there's just something about when you're sick and then you... Bam! Wow, what a start. What a start. Big G-Man coming in with a sub love. Thank you, Big G-Man. We're going to show you some love here in just a second. But there's something about being sick and then you start feeling better and you just want to feel better all the time. You just want to feel good all the time. I've been trying to do these bonus streams for a while, playing some other games, having some fun with you guys, doing some other stuff that I do like to play that I just don't seem to have enough time to do. But we're going to go ahead and do it. Wow, Drunk coming in with the host as well. Thank you so much for that auto host. Appreciate that love as well. So thanks for being here, everybody. We're going to play some City Skylines. Now, I'm one of those people that gets very, very addicted to these type of games. Building games, you might know by Fallout 4, right? Building games, City Skylines, they are billions. I played that just a little bit and I got obsessed with it. Because you know what happened? I consider myself pretty good. I'm pretty good at those type of games, tower defense games and that kind of stuff. They annihilated me. That wasn't even close. I didn't even have a chance to do jack squat, and they annihilated my base. And I said, wait a minute, that was a fluke. That was a fluke. Let me try it again, right? Because I just wanted to test it to learn a little bit about the game, right? So I said, I'm gonna try one more time. Blam! Got annihilated again. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to play this on stream so you guys can watch me get annihilated while I learn how to play the game, because man, that game's actually pretty tough. Pretty tough, and I consider myself pretty good at those kind of games. And I have played SimCity for a very long time, and funny thing about city simulators is I used to have a machine, and a bunch of my friends and people I used to work with would have a separate machine. We would buy a machine, and its only purpose was to run SimCity. That's it. We would leave it at work. We'd buy ourselves a cheap laptop or whatever. We'd leave it at work, and we'd let our city run. That was it. We had lots of fun. And we say, oh, what's going on with your city? Oh, look at that. Oh, that's awesome. And they're like, oh, look at mine. Yeah, oh, man, mine's doing good. So I'm a big fan of city builders like City Skylines. Now, I like City Skylines even more so because they overcame that issue that they had, of course, with SimCity Online, which I own that one too, which is actually fun to start, but it gets a little wonky in there at some point to play it, which is kind of a bummer. But the cities are too darn small in SimCity. I don't know what happened. The cities just seem to get smaller and smaller, and you can't have a big, sprawling, epic city like you can in City Skylines. Now, I'm going to show you some epic techniques. Now, I was getting obsessed while I was out sick. I was playing a little bit, and I would then rest, and I'd play a little bit because, you know, I'm addicted to games, so what can I say? It's just about as much as chocolate with me. So I got obsessed with making the perfect start to City Skylines, to getting a fantastic start and to learn offsets and things like that, which we'll talk about. I'll give you some of my Kismet tips on getting an amazing start on City Skylines and then becoming a millionaire in the game without cheating, without having to turn on unlimited funds or any of that stuff. We'll talk about a whole bunch of things that I learned just recently in the game. Now, I don't like to know everything about the game. I like to make mistakes. I like to make mistakes in games. I like to try different things, try different techniques, because you know what it does? It leads you down a road. And that road is called iterating, right? So you build something much like the Kismet kill box we've done in 7 Days to Die, and also in Fallout, where I built it, and then it wasn't so great at the beginning, and then you said, you know, what if I did this, and what if I did this, and what if I did that, and what if I did this, and I thought, oh, wait a minute, now we're getting somewhere, and then you might create something that's very uniquely yours, like my Kismet kill box is very uniquely mine, and we've kind of iterated on a bunch of times to a point now that, man, we put that sucker in 7 Days to Die, forget about it. Forget about it. We could build it right at the beginning of the game. Boom, we win. Just like that, which is pretty awesome. It means I'm going to have to crank the settings up even more next time we reset. I got to keep cranking it, So we're going to play some City Skylines. I hope you guys like it. Big G-Man says, long time no speak, Kismet. How have you been? I have been sick. My wife had the flu. My kids had the flu. then I got the flu, which is sucky because, of course, when I'm not streaming, my subs go down like crazy. It's pretty scary. I'm trying to keep the stream going, everybody. I'm trying to keep it going. Trying to keep it going. I'm trying to stream more. Not less. I wanted to stream more. I want to do more bonus streams. I want to do more videos. I want to do more this year. I want to try to break that ceiling, try to break through, and try to get that 500 subs this year so I can call this a real job and actually, like, survive on doing this for a living, which would be fantastic. But I'm going to keep at it. Keep at it every single day. I, of course, work on it 7 days a week for you guys. A lot of amazing stuff. I hope you guys like my awesome new custom City Skylines interface that I did, overlays and all that kind of fun stuff. You guys see that in just a second. So thank you so much for that love. Make sure to show Big G Man lots of love in the chat, everybody, for that sub. We got Dark Angel backing me up. What's up, Dark Angel? Make sure Dark Angel, my awesome mega supporter and mod, show him lots of love in the chat. Lots of love. Good morning, Pimp. Thanks for hanging out. Long-time supporter of the stream, over several years now. Long time. So let's dive right in. Again, this is one of these games I really like. I just haven't had time to play it on stream. Let's go ahead and jump into some City Skylines. Like my cool transitions? Yeah, I made a whole bunch of transitions and other epic stuff for the stream. A lot of fun to do that kind of stuff. Make transitions and overlays. Now, I'm in a very specific spot for a very specific reason, so that I don't overlap the interface. Now, I try to integrate my interfaces into the actual interface of the game, which is incredibly difficult and takes a lot of time and ingenuity to put stuff just in the right spots so it doesn't overlap that much. Sometimes I overlap a little bit, but I try to keep my interface so it doesn't overlap stuff. Now, as you can see, I've got my new interface down below here. If we do hit 5 subs, we can, of course, get on that Kismet love train. Hopefully, we get them subs back up again. We can try to get it going on. But again, if you're just here to have some fun, well, let's dive in, everybody. I'm going to dive right into a new game. Now, one of the ones I like here is River Run. Hey, there we go. Carl coming in right at the top of the stream with some dropping the Dragon Hammer. Dropping that Dragon Hammer, crushing the follow button, becoming part of the Kismet Army. Welcome. Come on in, Carl. Thanks for hanging out, Carl Roofer. Appreciate the love. Appreciate you hanging out, buddy. Feel free to say hello in the chat. My name is Kismet. I'm a variety streamer, partner streamer with Twitch, partnered with Discord, partnered with Curse Union for Gamers. That's right. I'm actually a pro gamer. Can you believe it? Well, pro, you know, I use that word loosely. There you go. I'm good, enjoying the day off. Just in the mood for a new game. Just don't know how to play. Well, I'm about to show you how to play. I'm going to show you my techniques to getting started right off the top. Sticky Hamster. Oh, I love that name. Thank you so much for coming in, showing the love, showing that host love. Now, again, every time you do host the channel, you do earn some Kiz Caps. You're like, Kismet, tell me about these Kiz Caps, bro. What are they all about? Well, I literally give away thousands of dollars worth of games here in the stream. I do giveaways, especially during Christmas times or my birthday or other fun times. I give away tons and tons of stuff. Like City Skylines, I've given this game away several times, as well as given away hundreds of games worth thousands of dollars here in the stream. So if you want to earn some Kiz Caps so you can use for the giveaways, it gives you an advantage. Of course, you just hang out in the stream, you earn them. Or you can host the stream. Doesn't cost you anything, right? You just go into your channel, even if you're not a streamer. Go in there, go right up to that menu up there, open up your channel, go to your chat, /host Kismet. My name's shorter than ever. It used to be Kismet _ Ring of Destiny. Like, whoa, big long name, but thanks to getting partnered and thanks to Twitch, I got the name Kismet now. So just /host Kismet, boom, it'll host me. It'll give you some Kiz Caps as well. Now, I've also got Twitter out there. I don't know if my mods are putting it in there. There it is. Yeah, Dark Angel's got it right there in the chat. If you go ahead and follow that link, you go ahead and retweet. For every 5 retweets, we're going to give everybody in the chat, 500 Kiz Caps. So keep building them up. So not only do you can win giveaways, but you can also use them in contests to win even more Kiz Caps to give you even more an advantage to win that stuff here on stream. You also can go to the stream store and get stuff over there. That means you can redeem sounds and put your name in game, and all sorts of cool stuff can be redeemed in the stream store as well. All sorts of cool stuff, as well as we got even more epic stuff coming down the line this year, which I'm not going to tell you yet. I don't want to ruin the surprise, but it's going to be awesome. All right, so one that I like here is River Run. Now, I go above and beyond in my stream, as you'll see by my awesome 3D red arrow. Check that out. Yes, I have the power of graphics. I've been a graphic designer for 25 years. Worked for the top companies in the world. That's right, Fortune 500 companies. I've been incredibly lucky in my career. I didn't know it when I was young. But as I got older, I said, man, I had a pretty amazing career. So I did that. I conquered that. And now I'm doing what I love on top of graphic design, which I also still love. And that's why I do all my own graphics. But I am doing some gaming. So right over here, you can see that we've got connections to various places. This allows us to connect to the outside. It's got rail connections, freeway connections. It's got boat connections. It's got all sorts of resources here, oil, ore, various other stuff as well, and of course, water connections. So it's kind of the all-around good one to start with because it has just about everything. It really helps you learn the game, as well as it has large areas so you can build gigantic cities, all right? So let's go ahead and dive in. And I'm going to show you a trick right here at the top. Kismet tip, right at the very top of getting started here. We're going to hit start. Now, right when you get started, get ready for this button right down below here. I'm going to go ahead and click that button, and I'm going to pause the game. Immediately pause the game before you do anything else. So I'm going to wait for it. Let's wait for it. Get ready. Get set. The second it comes up, boom, pause that sucker. There we go. All right, and then, of course, it's going to come up, tell you a little bit of the tutorial there. We're just going to skip that. And what we're going to do is we're going to save right now. Right now, because sometimes you might get a bad start and you might want to do this again, but you don't want to have to go back out to the main menu, come all the way back in again and do all of that again. So what I do is I save right at the very beginning, and I'm going to call this the RR start. Right there. So nothing, I've put nothing down yet. And I've already saved it, so in case I say, you know what, I didn't like the way I started. I didn't like how I do it. I want to start it over again. I want to try again. It's a great thing to do is just try to get your starting down, right? To get your start of your city down right away. Now, as you can see, we've got a connection here, and you can see the dotted lines. The dotted lines mean that is the edge of my location, right? And let's go ahead and just kind of look at the whole location. We've got a river running through the middle here, and of course, we've got another freeway connection. Way over here. There we go. So we got a freeway connection over on this side. We bump down here. Freeway connection on this side. We've got ourselves a nice river. And we got a big area on this side. So we're going to start on this side. And we've got a freeway connection here. You can see the freeway goes up that way and off this way. So we want to go ahead and tie right into this freeway. Now, I'm going to tell you off the bat what the number... We haven't even started yet. And I'm going to tell you what the #1 problem in any city simulator game is. And thank you to Wolf Mode for dropping the Dragon Hammer, crushing the follow button, becoming part of the Kismet Army. Welcome, welcome. Feel free to say hello in the chat. Engage also with the host. Thank you so much for that awesome host as well. The #1 thing that's going to happen to your city, I don't care what game you're playing, City Skylines, Sim City, any of the other city builders, whatever it is, it's going to be traffic. Traffic is the #1 thing that just derails your entire city. It may make it where your resources can't get to your power plants and you start losing power. It may make it where your resources can't get to your commercial, which means your commercials start to go out of business, or your industrial, so on and so forth. So starting off and learning about that very early on and thinking about how it's going to be in the end. Now, the way I like to do stuff, and this is 25 years of graphic design coming into play here, is I like to think of the end and work your way backwards. And you're like, Kismet, explain what you're talking about, bro. Explain what you're talking about. Well, when I'm designing something for somebody, as a graphic designer, and I used to do a lot of print design. So if somebody wanted a brochure, right? I wouldn't go, okay, let me sketch out your brochure, what it looks like. No, I'd say, what kind of paper is it going to go on? What kind of press is it going to go on? What is the end result that you want? Do you want it to be glossy? Do you want it to be matte finish? Do you want to have Pantone colors? What kind of colors you want in there, right? Start at the end. Start at the very end. What do you want it to be first? And then backward engineers all the steps, and then it's easy. Then you have less issues, and the end result comes out better. Then do it. Now, try that with everything in your life. Try that with everything in your life. What is it you want to be? Or where is it where you want to be? Like, great example, being a streamer, right? Where do I want to be in a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years down the road? You know, long-term goals. Well, I would have loved to have been partnered in my first year, but I wasn't. I had to keep at it. And I thought between 2 to 5 years, I'd give it a shot, see if I can get partnered. Well, it took me 2.5 years to do so, but that's okay, because that was my long-term goal. right? I want to be partnered with Twitch. I want to do this for a living. And how can I do that? What are the steps? And so I reverse engineered those steps. First, you got to love what you do. You got to have passion for what you do. I have a lot of passion for playing games. So let's go ahead and start. I'm going to give you some tips right at the very beginning to save money, all right? Now, one of the first things you have to do, you have no other choices. Notice over here, I have no other choices of roads, right? I can't choose any other roads. I can't choose any other selections. There's nothing else I can do, right? All I can do is put down a road. So I'm going to go ahead and put down a really small road, the smallest road I can do. Boom. Just like that, all right? So I'm going to put down the smallest kind of asphalt road, and notice how I've now got some new selections right here at the very beginning. So I'm going to try to maximize the beginning, save as much money as I can in the very beginning so I can utilize that money to keep the perpetual motion of my city going. Because when you start to lull your city, then what happens is you have to wait a long time until you build up those funds. But if you keep it going, and it's got a lot of momentum, just like in real life, like you go work out or you go do anything in life, you got to keep that momentum going. And if you get off track, that's okay. That's okay. You know, you made a mistake. You went out, you had, 5 pieces of pizza or whatever it is. Just kind of, okay, a little bump in the road, get back over to it and keep doing what you need to do. Right? Yes, same here, says Love Stained. Hello, Wolf Mode. Everybody say hello to Wolf Mode, Love Stained in the chat. Good morning, Raz. Thanks for hanging out. Is Kismet going to be streaming in the morning now? It's, yes, I am. These are bonus streams. I'll be streaming Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday in bonus streams. So there we go. Okay, so we got a road down. Now, what I'm going to immediately do is take that road out. Now, why am I going to take that road out? Because I'm going to get $90 bills back. That's right, $90 bills. Boom, got my money back. Just like that. Now, you can also save again right here if you want, so you don't have to kind of do that same thing. So we'll go ahead and say RR. And we'll just say road start. There we go. All right, so we've kind of taken care of that. Now we can go ahead and start our roads. Now, one of the most things that I see people do and that I have done in the past is try to connect these two roads together. Do not do that. Do not connect those roads. Now, you can get away with it at the beginning of the game, but I like to think, what are my roads going to be like way later in the game? And what do I need to kind of pre-plan for and build up in stages as I go, right? So we need, of course, we need power. We need water. We need sewage. We need garbage. We need resources and services like fire and police and all that other stuff. But in the very beginning, all we need, power, water, and sewage, right? That's what we need. And we need the ability for traffic to come in and to go out as efficiently as possible, all right? Now, what we're going to do first, and I'm going to go ahead and also point out this stuff right here. These guides are incredibly helpful. You're going to see me turn these on and off. That's why I'm off, kind of offset, so I'm not not over the top of them, so I can show you guys exactly which guides that I use. Now, right now, I'm going to use the road guides and, of course, road length and various grids to, of course, calculate what I'm going to be doing, right? So I'm going to go ahead and get the dirt road. This is the cheapest road you can get. Only costs 0.19 a week, costs 20 per cell. Super cheap to make a road. So we're going to start dragging that road. Notice that first line there. That's giving me kind of a distance to kind of measure by. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Boom. There we go. So we're 5 out, right? Now, here's where you need to be thinking about how big are the objects that you're going to be putting on these roads. Meaning in distances, right? In distances between the road. Now, if I go up like this, and then I start to go across, I could leave no gap, and that means that I have 4 on one side and 4 on the other side. What do I mean by 4? I mean 4 grid-wise, right? So right here, we can count these boxes, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's about as big as it gets, right? And then they're 4 wide by 4 high. That's how pretty much the building sizes go. And I'm going to show you how to have complete and absolute control over it, or you can just throw it down and just let it build itself. You can do it either way. I like to have really precise control because I like them to be as optimized as possible because, of course, that optimizes my income as the mayor. So what I want to do is I want to think about the gap between this 4 and the next 4 that I'm going to do. Do I want 1 as a gap? Do I want 2 as a gap, 3 as a gap, 4, 6, 8? You can actually go about 8 as a gap in between here and still have the power go from this one to the next one. So let's go ahead and test something out. Now, we can always back up, by the way, everybody. Another good time to save right now. We're going to go ahead and save again so we can back up. Road number 2, we're going to call that one. And we're going to try this first as this. All right, now this leaves us with absolutely no gap. Right, so if we create some zones here, and I'm going to go ahead and actually choose this tool right down here. Get my arrow. This tool right down here, which is going to allow me to be very precise on what I'm building. Very, very precise as well. Oh, thank you for the hug, Kismet. Love Sand says, this is perfect for me right now because eventually my streets always get backed up as my game goes on. I'm going to show you some techniques on how to fix that. I have spent, you know, the funny thing about games, you know, some people put games down, but what in your life, other than this game, is going to motivate you to go on the internet and ask this very question? How do they determine where to put bus stops? I mean, have you ever thought of that in your life? I've been around a long time, and I don't think I've once ever asked that question. How do they determine where to put bus stops? You know what they do? Based on density and how many people are going where, right? Is it like a concert hall, right? Well, they'll put one by the concert hall because that's a destination that a lot of people want to go to. The beach, right? They're going to put bus stops by the beach because a lot of people want to take the bus to the beach, right? So I'm going to show you how to optimize your bus lines, how to do trains, how to do all of that stuff to make your city flow 80, 90%. We're going to do some roundabouts, all that kind of cool stuff eventually. I don't know if we're going to do it all today, but we'll do it eventually. Okay, so this is what I call a zero gap. Now, a zero gap means that over here, oops, that was fail. All right, let me get my little tool. There we go. So over here, somebody is going to put a house right here. Oh, let's say somebody puts a house right there, right? So it's 4 by 4 square. And then somebody else will put a house on the other side, right? And there'll be no gap in between. Now, one of the things that I've learned is people will walk quite far. So if you leave a gap in between there, you can create what's known as a footpath. So they can walk from place to place. Now, just imagine this in your hometown. Imagine this in your hometown. If you had the ability to walk to work without ever have to stop at a stoplight, right? Say you live 4 blocks away from where you work. And if you could just walk down this path that was away from the street, and you could walk there, go up over the road, over and over, like a walkover, right? And then just keep on walking, walk over again, and bam, you're at work. Don't have to use your gas. Don't have to park your car. Don't have to have wear and tear. Doesn't cost you nothing. You could ride your bike over there. You can ride your bike to work and ride it back. Now, there's some people like that. They're called green belts, where you can actually just use the green belt to get from place to place. That's what I like to do in my city. I learned that does reduce congestion tremendously if you do use that. So I'm going to go ahead and take this out. We're just going to practice in this one, and then we'll back up and go do the for real city here. So we're going to take this back out again. It's going to refund my money, though it's best to start over so you get maximum use of your money. But I'm just going to take it out. So let's go ahead and actually extend this on a little bit further. And this time we'll go ahead and we'll leave a 1 gap. Right? Like this. We'll go ahead and extend this one up a little bit. There we go. So now we've got a 1 gap in between there. Now, just so you know that trains and roads actually take up 2 squares. They do not just take up 1. So if we went and we looked at this from straight down, right, and we wanted to put a road down, we'll look at the road. The road is actually 2 wide. See, it's not actually 1 wide, which is very, very confusing in the beginning because you would think it would be only 1 square wide. It's 2 wide. So you got to think of that in your head. If I want to run a road behind these buildings, or if I want to run a train behind these buildings, I have to have 2 blocks for that. Now, if I want to run a metro station, say I want to have a footpath that leads to a metro station, that's right over here, right? Well, then metro stations are 2 wide, and my path would be 1 wide, so I would need a 3 gap in between, all right? Now, some buildings are 8 blocks wide. Some buildings are more than that. So you got to think of that. Some utilities, the university and things like that, parks and stuff are really wide. So we have to think about what distances we want for those, right? So I will usually start and think about, okay, where do I want my metros? Now look how far ahead I'm thinking. We are just starting and I'm already thinking about my metro stations. Where are my bus stations going to be? Where are my footpaths going to be? Now, why am I doing that so early? I could just come back later, knock it all down and redo it. Well, that really screws your city over. The more you knock down buildings, the tougher it is for you to keep going and for you to re-go, because those people have to, you get new people in, they have to relearn everything, they got to re-get trained up and go to different schools, and it really does affect the finances of your city and the momentum of your city. So you want to have your city as intact as possible and stay that way as long as possible without having to disturb it as much. So that's the way I try to play. Now, of course, it's your game. You can play it however you want, but these are some tips I'm trying to give you to start, because I got very, very obsessed with getting the best start. All right, so that was a 1 gap. Let's take that out. All right, now let's go ahead and try a 3 gap and see what that looks like. All right, there we go. We got a 3 gap, so we can, well, now I can't do public transport right now. I'm at the beginning of the game, but we're going to take a road, which is the same distance, and we're going to run a road along here and see if we can do that. Yes. See, so there we go. We've got a road. It did fit in the middle of that. We'll take that out. So we could run a railroad track through there if we want to. And then also, if we have a one block width, we can also run footpaths. Now, I want to run footpaths around the thing, and then also, so I don't have to make my blocks so short and make too many intersections, I'm going to go ahead and leave a gap in the middle so that I can actually chain them long ways. That means all the way down the way, right? So I can chain them across so people can walk around the city. It's going to reduce my traffic tremendously. And the thing, people are going to get places faster. They're going to be able to get there, get back, less cars, less congestion, more road ability for your industrial, for your commercial as well. So that is a 3 gap. So if I'm saying, okay, I'm just going to put metro and I'm going to go ahead and put a footpath here, I will leave a 3 gap. Now, you can also leave a 4 gap just for extra space if you want. Now, if you're also going to put train stations and things like that in here, you need to know what the offset of the train station is so you can bring the line in, hit the train station, and then bring the line out again, whether you're going subterranean or above ground, is also a great way. Now, also another thing you can do in this amazing game is do subterranean entrances, which I think is super cool. Watch this. You can actually make a subterranean entrance by grabbing the road, and then I'm going to do page down, which is, now I'm underground, right? I'm underground right now, like this, and then I'll make a little road like that, and then I will try to have it come back up. A little too steep there. Let me go ahead, go back in there, take this out. Maybe I can just go ahead and bring it straight up from here. There we go. So I just made a subterranean road. Now, how does that help me? Well, since I made a subterranean road, if you left enough gap, I can get it here, just in between there. Now, if you left enough gap, you can go ahead and try to do that. Now, that didn't work. That didn't work. So we're going to take that out. I'll show you another technique on how to make these roads work. I find sometimes, like I said earlier, try to get my dozer to work. There we go. Pressing the wrong button. My keyboard, that's why it's not working. I find that sometimes you got to work backwards. So you go this way, and then you try to go underground. Not letting me do for some reason. Oh, I got the wrong thing. I have this road. Underground. There we go. There we go. It's not enough distance. Not enough distance. I've got to go. My road's got to be further out, so I have a gap here. Now, why is that useful? Well, the way that that's useful is you can go ahead. There we go. I got it. Oh, that was right. I did it. I did it right. I left this here so that you could go ahead and have a return, right? So basically, the trucks come in, they supply your industrial, they go back out around here, take care of all your industrial, and then boom, right back on the freeway. Just that easy. So you don't have that kind of double intersection. You want to eliminate as many double overlapping heavy traffic intersections as possible. And especially using one-way roads helps a lot too. But again, we're going to do all of this stuff. I'm just kind of preempting it so you get it in your mind as we go along. So this works really fantastically as well. So you can do that, or you can do that later on, which I typically do. All right, so that was that, and we're going to go ahead and take all that back out again. We're just tinkering first. We're tinkering around, and then we're going to get serious here. All right, so I'm going to go 2 up this way, and I'm actually going to go up a couple here. Now, the reason why I'm going to go up a couple here is so that I'm not so close up against this kind of dotted line here. So I have room to put like power plants and trash and all that stuff down below. So I'm actually going to go ahead and offset up a little bit first, and then go ahead and run this out again. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I find 5 or 6 is about good. You know, 5 is a pretty good average. All right. Now let's go ahead and do a really big gap. We're going to go ahead and do a bit further. Now, sometimes you got to kind of do the road a little bit so you can kind of get that going. Now, what am I looking at when I'm putting it down? I'm looking at this edge right here at the bottom, how that lines up here and allows me to count how much of a gap I have here squares-wise. So I'm watching that bottom corner. Kismet for president. No, that's a sucky job. Forget that job. That is a sucky job. I wouldn't take that job. They paid me millions of dollars. Forget it. Forget it. I'll take it virtually in game, but I won't take it in real life. Forget that. You can't pay me enough for that job. That's a sucky job. No matter what you do, you're screwed. And thanks for hanging out. I'm a shoe. Appreciate the love, bro. Appreciate the love. All right, so there we go. So now if we want a 4 gap, again, right there, okay, there's a 4 gap. You see there's 4 blocks, right? We want a 6 gap. Bam, there we go. Now we got 6 blocks in between the 2 roads. Now that's what I'm going to consider to be a gap, okay? And I'm going to actually add gaps as I go along. Now, I need to think of the next thing. What is going to be down here at this level? What's going to be right here? Now, I'm going to tell you the way I do it. You can do it however you want. But I'm going to tell you the thing to put right here, right next to this road, is your power. You want to put your power immediately off this road. Now, why do you want to do that? Why do you want to put your power right there? Because your trucks are going to be bringing in resources to go to your power plant here. And, of course, the power plant I put in is this one, the coal power plant. It's going to bring some coal in for your power plant. Now, if you've got a traffic problem all over your city and your trucks cannot get to your coal power plant, you're going to run out of coal and you're going to run out of power. So I put it right there. That's the best place for it. Except for I made a mistake. I should not put it on this kind of road. I should put it on an upgraded road because I'm eventually going to upgrade this road. Now, I'm going to do something that you shouldn't do. Don't bulldozer this in the beginning. I would reload. But I'm going to bulldozer just to show you. All right, so we're going to go ahead and upgrade this road to a 4-lane road, right? Now, the reason why you're going to do that is because it's going to offset by 1 block wide that you can't upgrade it later. But the cool thing is you can move it, though, by the way. You can't. Actually, let me show you that. Let me show you moving it. I'll put it back down. So if you put it down, one of the things you don't have in other games, and this is what happened when I started playing this game, is I didn't realize that you could move it, right? I would just keep bulldozering it, and I would lose 20,000. But you can actually relocate this building, say over here. It costs you some money to relocate it. Then you can upgrade that particular road by using the upgrade exclamation point here. And I'm going to go ahead and upgrade that road to a 4-lane road. Just that one spot where that thing's going to go. Then I can go ahead and grab it. And I can go ahead and move it back over there. So there you go. Kismet tip. That is so incredibly useful. I just saved you thousands upon thousands of dollars with just those 2 tips right there. Upgrade your primary roads to 4-lane roads at the very beginning. So you don't have to move it around later. You don't have to upgrade it later. You upgrade it now at the very beginning. Wherever you're putting your resources, like your power, your police, all of that stuff as well. All right, and you can see I've got enough offset here where I can go ahead and put a lot of resources and whatnot along here. So I'm going to put my power here, and I'm also going to have my industrial along here. And again, I'm thinking at the very beginning, how am I going... What is my end result? What's going to happen when my city starts going, right? Now, I can actually tell you step by step on the whole how the whole entire city is going to kind of develop along the thing because I can visualize it in my head. But that's okay if you can't visualize it because we're going to do it here in just a moment. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and leave a 3 gap right here. And I'm actually going to add an additional gap. right? Now, why am I going to add an additional gap? Oh, that's a good question. That's a good question, because right here, thank you to Just Call Me Mima. Thanks so much for dropping the dragon hammer, crushing that follow button, becoming part of the Kismet Army. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for hanging out in the stream. Feel free to say hello in the chat. Not even learn about aliens. Aliens! Look out. I wonder if there's a Tide Pod restaurant in this game. Oh my gosh. Sometimes people do the dumbest things, don't they? Are you going to play Railroad Empire? Absolutely, I'm Shu. There was a game called Railroad Tycoon when I was young that I absolutely loved. If they just remade that game, I would pay like $150 to play that game. That game was so incredibly fun. You set up your different routes, and they would take coal from one place to another, and you set up another route, and they would take different wood and lumber back and forth. And then if you kind of collected both of those things, you would start to make money as they went back and forth, back and forth. I should buy the license to that game. I gotta get a lot of subs so I can get a lot of cash so I can buy the license to that game and remake that game, and then we can all play that game. How about that? I think that's a good plan. I think that's a good plan. Maybe a little GoFundMe or like a Kickstarter, maybe. You guys getting me inspired now. Get me inspired. All right, so now because this road here is going, when I upgrade it, it's going to offset. See how it offsets up to here? This road, this part right here is going to go away. Here's a great example. I'm going to go ahead and put down some industrial, right? On both sides. Now watch what happens. Now notice I put it on both sides here. Watch what happens when I upgrade this part of the road. I'm going to go ahead and upgrade it to a 4-lane road. Boom. Look what happened. See right here? Now we're screwed, right? Because if I upgrade this road with buildings there, these buildings are going to go away. They're going to go away. Boom, gone. Sorry, buildings are out of there. Then they got to re-come in again. They got to rebuild up again. I try to avoid that as much as possible, but you usually don't have enough resources to go ahead and make all your roads 4-lane roads in the beginning. We'll probably have to redo our industrial at some point, and sometimes that's okay. Sometimes that actually does help your city when it comes to industrial. Residential is where I make most of my money, so I don't want that to upgrade as often, right? Now, some roads are going to be 4-lane roads. Some roads are going to be just 2-lane roads. Why would I just want 2-lane roads? Well, that's for my residential. My residential prefer 2-lane roads. Also, it keeps the trucks off those roads. 4-lane roads are more prone to putting your trucks in there. I'll also show you zoning and a whole bunch of other fun stuff. We got so much fun stuff to do. All right, so that's why you'll see me upgrade that, and I've got to leave that extra offset so when I do upgrade the road, I have enough room for it to upgrade and still have room behind there for the walking path. All right? Now, I've given you lots of information. We fooled around a little bit, but now let's get serious. Let's get serious. I showed you a whole bunch of starter stuff. Let's get in there. Let's go ahead and go back to our roads here. We're going to go to road 2 start, and we're going to say load. And again, I'm going to pause it right away. Pause it right away. Bam. Before I lose any money. I don't want to lose any money in the very beginning. All right. We're going to go ahead and turn around here. We're going to go in here and we're going to get serious now. We're going to get serious. Okay. So the first area is going to be my industrial. All right. So we're going to go ahead again, take our cheapest road, and we're going to run it straight off there. By the way, if you have a question or comment for me, feel free to throw it in the chat. My name is Kismet. If you use my name, it'll highlight in red, go into its own separate chat. So if I get busy talking or chatting in here, I can come back to it and look at it. Just Call Me says, hello, fellow city builder. Hello to you. Just Call Me Mama. What's up? Thanks for hanging out. I love building cities. It's a lot of fun. Kismet, what would you say the best person for the job is the one that doesn't want it? This is true. That is true. I find when I look for people who get the Kismet Star, our guild's highest award, I have a guild that's been running for 15 years. That's right. I founded it 15 years ago. It has 800 members, and I found the people that actually earned our highest awards are the people who never even try to get it. They just are who they are. They help people out. I find the same thing. People who really don't want that job, who end up probably pretty good at it because they don't feel entitled for it, right? They feel like happy to have that job. I don't know if you guys have ever had that experience in your life where you were actually felt like you were lucky to have that job. Now, I used to work for Apple, and I felt that way every day. Every day I felt lucky that I was there, a part of some of the most excellent people in the world. Now, some people have some horror stories about Apple, whatever. I do not. I have the kind of feeling like when I was working there, the other people were so good, they inspired me to be better at what I did, right? And if you guys have had just a tiny spark of that in your life, it carries with you forever. It really does, for the whole rest of your life. And I've been lucky enough to work at a lot of places like that along my career. So hopefully you guys will have that now or will eventually find that, because it is fairly rare to really enjoy what you do every day, like I'm doing right now. I'm fun playing games with you guys. All right, so we're going to go ahead and start off here. Now, the industrial here, eventually I'm going to have actually the trains down here, so I don't need to worry about it being in the middle. But I'm going to need to go ahead and leave a gap for those larger roads, right? So I need at least a 2 gap because the road at the top and the road at the bottom are going to expand to a 4-lane road eventually, all right? So we've got a base start 2 gap. Now, we also want a footpath behind there. So we want to add another 1 for 3 gap, right? And then maybe we want to go ahead and add an eventual metro station down here at the bottom of my city. So we're going to go ahead and add 2 more for that. So how much is that now? That's 2, a third 1, 4, 5. But let's just round it up to 6 to make it just right, all right? So let's leave a 6 gap here. So we're going to go ahead and say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right there, boom. And then we're going to go ahead and double check it by counting it in our head. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. We've got a 6 gap in between here for expansion later on. For expansion later on, I'm going to run it right over here, line it up to my road. I love the guides in this game. It makes it so much easier. So much easier. All right. So this is our start, right? This is our start. Now, what I can do is I can go ahead and just do kind of a paint feel like this, right? Just fill it in with industrial. Yeehaw! Woohoo! Let's just fill that sucker in and just go for it, right? No. No. Now, you can do that, and I've done that before, which actually is pretty fun. But I like to have really a lot of control over how my industrial comes in, all right? Now, the first thing I'm going to do, which you saw me do before, which is upgrade my road where I'm going to put my utility so I don't have to move it, upgrade the road later, and then move it back, all right? So I'm going to think of that in ahead of time. So we're going to go ahead and upgrade the road to a 4-lane road right there, all right? And I'm going to put my power right there so that I don't have to go very far. But look what happened, everybody. Look what happened. I did that on purpose. Look what happened. The road is too close to the edge. I can't put my power there, right? It's too close, fail fish, right? So that road that I originally created was too close. So we're going to have to redo that again. And you might have to redo it. You know, when you're first learning the game, don't be afraid of making a mistake over and over again. Now, we've already done the road start here. Let's back up and let's offset our road a little bit this time. Again, pause the game right away. Try to get that set up. This way you have lots of resources. You're not burning your cache right at the very beginning because the game is running, but you don't have anything set up yet. All right, so let's again reset. Let's go ahead and offset that road a little bit further this time. This time we're going to go ahead and go, let's go out here double. There we go. And then I'm going to offset this by about 4 right there. And then we're going to be up much higher. And again, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go 5. There we go. Now I'm going to speed up a little bit because we've already talked about this. And there we go. We've got our upgraded road. We've got our long road. We've offset the road from this kind of edge of our settlement here so that we can now put our power down. And look at that. Boom. Now that is an awesome start right there. All right. Now we're looking good. Look at that. We've got our city upgraded. We don't have to move our power. The people can come in, put the coal right in the power plant right to the very beginning so that it's not messed up. Let's go ahead and do that 6 offset again. Let's get it going. We'll go ahead and run this way up here. And then there's 2, there's 4, 5, 6. Boom, there's our 6 offset way over here. And there we go. You see I made it a little bit bigger by 1. Looking good. Now again, I want to have ultimate control over who's going to be going where. So I'm going to go ahead and take control here and actually put them down in groups of 6. Now notice how I have offset, right? I offset this by 1. Now, the reason why I want to do that is because I don't want them to fill in, you know, 2 here, 3 there. What they'll do is they'll fill in just a partial part of that thing. Instead of filling in the entire thing, they'll fill in just like one little square or one line of squares or 2, 3. I hate it when it does that. I hate it when it does that. I want it to be one big giant building because that brings me in the dollar bills. That's what brings me in the dollar bills. There we go. Wolf mode! Loading rocks! What's up, buddy? Thanks for hanging out in the stream. Uh-oh, something got banned. Oh, no. What a bummer. You got banned for something. That was a bummer. Gonna miss out on some awesome giveaways here in the stream. That's too bad. If you get banned on my channel, you don't get it going. If you were president, you could have the game remade for you. That's true. I could. That's true. That's true. I could. I could do that. All right. So there we go. So let's go ahead and count it again. Make sure I didn't screw up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Looking good. Looking good. Now let's go ahead and speed up a little bit here, everybody, because we've only got so much time today. So we're going to have our commercial right down, or our residential right there, and I'm going to have my commercial right here to create a gap between this and this. Or if you do a lot of industrial like me, you can create an additional gap on this side right there, right? And I like to have what I call commercial bookends. That means that the commercial kind of bookends your residential, right? Now, I also like to have commercial as an offset or offices as an offset later on. So I will actually think about offices now, even though I haven't unlocked it later on. So this section right here is actually going to be offices. Now, a little tip for you if you're playing on the PC, if you hold down your right mouse button instead of going to the no zone, you can actually hold down your right mouse button and D-zone just like that, just like I did right there. So I'm using the right mouse button to D-zone. So as you see me do that, we're doing good. So this is where my commercial is going to be. This is where my industrial is going to be. And now I'm going to go ahead and work my way up to residential. Now, you can do your residential vertically. You know, you can do your blocks vertically or do them horizontally like I'm doing now. Now, there's really no horizontal or verticals because I can't just rotate. And then now it's vertical. It depends on your perspective, I guess. All right, so the first one here is going to have a 6 gap because I'm going to go ahead and utilize this for a footpath and then also other services and utilities down here eventually. Now, the next one here, I'm going to go ahead and also set this one up so it'll have an offset for the 4-lane roads. So I'm going to use a 2 gap, and I'm also going to add one for a footpath, but it's not going to have a metro station. So I'm not going to include the 2 extra that I might need for a metro station. So I'm going to have that gap, which eventually is going to close in, and then I'm just going to have a footpath back there. So I'm only going to do a 3 gap on this one. There we go. Now notice what happened there on that right-hand side. Because I hadn't done the road yet, it's now not properly offset. So again, we'll go ahead and just go in there. We'll fill that in with 4. Now we're good. All right. So we're going to book in that. So eventually we're going to go ahead also, and we're going to put some industrial right up here. And again, notice I do this first, and then I'll come back and fill this in because then it will be perfectly full 4x4 buildings. Much more efficient doing it that way. And again, we'll have some buildings here. Now, if I want to have more industrial, and instead of just doing it within the first 3 rows, if I wanted to go 4 rows or 5 rows, of course, I'd offset it up even more. So I could go ahead and offset this up here and say, okay, this will eventually be my stuff here, and this, dezone that, and this will be all my residential. Or all my industrial. Now, I get this all the time. Kismet, you put your residential by your industrial. You don't know what you're doing. Hey, man, you want to create some slums, throw some residential right there. They're going to be sick all the time, by the way. They're going to be totally sick if you throw them there. But, hey, you know what? In real life, I'm from L.A. I can tell you. There's people living right next to those factories. And those people are in, like, this debris zone. And I don't like to do that in my cities, though you could totally get away with it. You create some slums, you, of course, get yourself some cash, you knock down your slums, and you build some nice places elsewhere. It's really up to you. It's your game. You can do whatever you want. But me, I'm going to go ahead and do this, right? I'm going to go ahead and leave this kind of big offset because this road, and this road are going to be my larger roads. And I'm going to go ahead and keep going a little bit more. Let's keep going up this way, like so. And now we need to have we need to have 3 times as much residential as we do commercial as in industrial. So again, I'm going to go ahead and leave a 1 gap for the road, 1 gap for the footpath, but this road is only going to be a 2-lane road. It's not going to be a 4-lane road, right? So again, look how far ahead I'm thinking, right? Again, got to fix that over there on the right. It's going to happen a lot. So I pre-think out a lot of my buildings ahead of time. So this one's going to expand to a 4-lane road, 4-lane road, 4-lane road, and then up here we're going to start getting into our 2-lane roads, which is going to be mainly our residential. And again, so we want to think, okay, well, this road's not going to expand, right? This road's not going to expand because this is going to be my residential here. And my residential is going to start right about here, right? I'll put that on both sides. Oops, I missed one. Residential is going to start there. And then it's going to go right there. And let me actually do that correct this time. Right there. And then, of course, we're going to do another block and another block. Now, you also need to think about, okay, where am I going to put my utilities, right? Where am I going to put my universities? Where am I going to put my parks? Where am I going to put my elementary schools? All of that stuff. You should be thinking of that in ahead of time. It will help you a lot. Now, okay, so we've got this one here. This one's going to offset, and that's going to leave us 1 kind of row for our footpaths. Same thing here. Now, this one, I only need a 1 offset because these roads aren't going to get any bigger. So we're going to go ahead and use that as a footpath, right? Now, of course, my metro station is going to be down here. And my next one here, I want to have metro stations because I usually want to have it about 2 or 3 blocks. You don't want to put it on every single row. You don't want to put bus stations every single spot, right? People can walk, right? Make them walk. Don't make it where you're losing so much money because you have so many buses and so many bus stations that you're literally running your city into the ground. Less is more. And that's what you're going to learn here in the stream. What's up, the Net Ranger? Thanks for hanging out, buddy. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, 6 months is the next one. Thanks for hanging out. I'm playing some City Skylines. I love this game. It is super fun. I've gotten way back into it again. I got really obsessed with getting a great start and learning a bit of the techniques that I'm sharing with you guys right now on how to do it. Did I tell you that my sister had her first birthday? Oh, happy birthday to her. I did not know that, Raz. Happy birthday. Awesome, awesome. Awesome, awesome. Right, so let's keep going, everybody. And again, we're going to go ahead and leave this one with a 1 gap for our footpaths later on. And there we go. So we've got, how much residential we got now? We got a line there. 2, 3 things of residential. Now, I like to go about 3 things of residential, right? So this is 1, that's 2, this is 3, and then that's when I do my services, right? My city services. Now, city services, of course, I'm going to want a metro station, bus station. I want to have my high school. I want to have my elementary school, my university, parks, stuff like that. And I will just put it in the middle so it can basically be everything around. It can actually service around that entire area. So I'm thinking of that also ahead of time. So I'm going to leave a 6 gap here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. And that will be my city services as well. All right, so there we go. That's it. That's pretty much what we need for zoning right now. Now I'm going to go ahead and get rid of any excess roads. And that's pretty much the start to our city. Now, of course, we need to put in our exit here, which we'll do here in a second. But let's go ahead and zone it out just so, again, we can visualize it. I like to stay in the zoning thing so I can visualize what I'm doing. And I'm going to go ahead and do this. And I'm going to go ahead and just zone just this one side. You'll see why here in just a bit. It's going to allow me to do all of my services here. I'm going to de-zone all of this over here. I'm going to de-zone this. And I'm going to go ahead and leave that one commercial, a whole bunch of residential. And now I'm going to go ahead and utilize my power. Now, before I do my power, of course, I'm going to go ahead and create an exit road. There we go. Now, this exit road actually doesn't go directly straight to the exit. You want to watch out for that because it will make your roads funky. So what I do is I get about here and then I make a little angled road. This way it doesn't screw up my roads later on. I will create some subterranean roads, entrances and exits and subways and all sorts of fun stuff later. So that's pretty much the configuration of my starter city right there. Now, there is the things, like I told you, your base utilities, right? So you've got, of course, your power, and I put it on an upgraded road. I only upgraded 1 road so far. And then, of course, we want our water and power. So we want to go ahead and go to water. And because I have water available, I don't have to use the water tower, though I could if I wanted to. But I want to go ahead and look straight down the road and say, okay, where do I want this to go, right? So I can kind of eyeball it that way, but there's actually an easier way to do it. I've got to run a pipe anyway that's going to run to my city. So what I'm going to do is actually use the pipe to line me up all the way in a nice straight fashion. And I'll get somewhat close to it like that. And it tells me exactly where the kind of most optimum place is to put my water. Now, you don't want to put your water intake and your sewage exit in the wrong place, right? So this is my water intake. It's going to grab the water and, of course, feed the water to my city. Now, you saw how wide it is. Notice how that my actual pipe is showing me the width of that particular location. So I'm actually using the pipe to know how far away this needs to be away from my intake, right? Now, I like it to be really far away. I push it way over there because I don't want it to go in there. Also, I'm looking at the water. Notice the arrows are pointing that way. That means that this sewage is going to go that way, up that way, instead of coming down this way and accidentally get into my clean water. So I'm going to put it way over there. And then, of course, I'm going to go ahead and connect this with some pipes. There we go. Looking good. Looking good. Now, well, this looks pretty great. Let's go ahead and save this again. This looks pretty good. We're going to go ahead and just call this Road 2. And we're going to go ahead and replace what we've got. And we've already got our pipeline run. We've got our thing going here. And now we need some power. Now, in the very beginning, I go ahead and what I call jump start the power. Eventually, I'll take these power lines out. But we're going to go ahead and jump start the power. And notice how the power there is kind of overlapping into this middle lane. That means I can go ahead and start right up against here. It doesn't actually have to be on there, by the way. But you can start up right up against here, and I can run the power right down the middle of this, like so. And of course, I could have offset it too, so it wasn't using that middle lane there, but I'm not going to use that for right now. We'll adjust that later. Boom, there we go. Now, I like to, you can chain this from here to here, but I don't like to do that because if something happens with this, then I lose power to my sewage as well. So I try to run a separate line like this. So if something happens to this, this will still be functional, right? So there we go. Now we've run our power. Now again, we want to jumpstart our residential here. So we want to go ahead and run a little bit of power from our residential, just temporarily, right out to there. And you can see, there we go. We've got some power. It's right next to the residential. It'll kick that residential on, and then the power will start to chain itself across there. Now, how can you see that happen? How can you see it actually start your power and chain your power across your city? Well, you go up here to this thing right here, and you click on this, so you can actually see the overlay of your residential, commercial, and industrial zones, as well as the overlay of the power at the same time, which is why these things are so awesome, these little trigger things here. Pretty awesome. You have to go to Gather Bot. It shows you, yeah, or you go exclamation point wallet. It tells you how many you have. Exclamation point wallet will show you how many Boss Kids caps. All right, so we're ready to start, everybody. We're ready to start, but we need to kind of look over our city. Okay, do we got our power run? Yes, we do. We've got it going to the residential. We've got it going up here. Actually, I can just go in here. We've got it running to those. So we've got water. We've got sewage. We've got electricity. We've got it run to our residential because residential is going to be the first thing that starts to appear. I can't just let it run from industrial to commercial to residential because residential is the first thing that's going to come in, right? So I could put the residential by the power plant, but I don't want to do that. I've done it before where you just kind of use it to train it and then you take it away later. But I don't want to take anything away if I can avoid it. All right, so there we go. And again, we've left room for footpaths and then also for our larger utilities down there. Now, what you want to do is you want to have about 20,000 left over in the very beginning so that in just a little bit, I'm going to get some of my city utilities and I can go ahead and use those utilities and put those down right away to keep the momentum of my city going. Now, there's another thing I need to do, of course, and that is to go ahead and put in some more pipes here. So I'm going to go ahead and run those across, and I'm going to just try to get those as cheaply done as possible with just a little bit of overlap. There we go. And I'm just going to run it to the edge of this road. And again. And we're going to keep adding this as we go. We don't want to spend too much here in the beginning. We want to go ahead and maximize our cash. Like so. All right, we're getting a great start now. Water's squared away. We got our piping done. We've got our power set up. We've got our road upgraded. We've got our entrances and exits set up. We've got our preliminary start of all of our various locations. We've got power run to where our residential is going to start. And once I get this residential, it's going to do power to this one and so on and so forth. It's going to chain its way across. And I'm actually going to add the power as we go. Or add the zoning as we go, and you'll see it actually, I have complete control over what zones at what time. And that's what's really amazing about the game. So we're about 22,000 here at the start. I think we're ready to go. I think we're ready to start. So we're going to go ahead and save one more time, and we're going to call this 3, and we're going to call this zone start. There we go. We're going to go just take the word road out. So RR3 zone start. Save and go. Let's do it. I'm going to make it go nice and fast. We're going to go ahead and take a look at that power. Look at that. Like I said, look at that. Residential already coming in, already filled in. Look, we've got all of our residential filled in. Hold on. Stop. In just a few seconds, we have filled in the entire row of power for our residential. We filled it in. That's it. Bam, we're good to go. Next thing that's going to happen is our commercial is going to come in and our industrial is going to come in. Not necessarily in that order, depending on what happens. But now we're ready to actually do some more zoning. Now, because I did them in groups of 4 by 4, the houses are building at their maximum size at the very beginning. Now, I will actually leave a gap while I'm zoning, and I'm actually going to zone multiple zones at the same time now, right across here like this, and then we'll continue to keep going. Now, watch as they fill in, and notice the power is spreading. That blue area means that the power is now spread to the next area. And again, we could pause. Of course, we could do it while it's going. That's typically how I do it, but I'm just pausing so you guys can see it happening. And again, now again, we want to have 3 times as much residential as we do commercial and industrial. Actually, you want to have very little commercial versus everything else. And there we go. Look at it filling in. Nice and easy, making those dollar bills already. Now, we want to see how quickly that I become profitable here in the game. So let's keep going. We're going to go ahead and do it as it's going. I'm going to go ahead and just keep zoning it. Now, notice how it's passing that 4 gap there to get to the next one as we go. Boom. Now, you might not notice something pretty magical there. Look at that. Look how it perfectly was 4, 4, 4, 4, 4 all the way across. Now, once you have both sides like this filled in, you're good to fill in the middle. This way, you know you're going to get the maximum houses of each of those. Now, this one has not filled in yet, so I'm not going to get that one yet. Oh, there we go. We've got our industrial and commercial filled in. Look at that. We're already at 855. We're already starting to make money. We got 320 people moving in. Now, by the way, as you hit different milestones, you will get a bonus of influx of cash, which you can use to keep the momentum of your city going. So that's what we're going to do right now. Let's keep going. Keep going. Boom. And I'm going to actually do it as the game progresses. Now, you can see I need industrial and commercial. So we'll keep going with our industrial. We're going to do the same thing that we were doing with commercial. We're going to run our industrial here. 2, 3, 4. Like so. Now, if I screw up, I'll just de-zone it and redo it again. Now, look how much control I have over how the power transfers, right? Because if it doesn't have power, of course, it's going to say, hey, you don't have power. I have to run a power line to it. But I don't want to run a power line to it because it costs me money. I don't want to spend any extra money that I don't have to at the very beginning because it gives me the most optimum start at the very, very beginning. Now, again, these ones here I've already filled in, so I can go ahead and now fill in the in-between spots here. I'm not going to do this one here. I don't do 3s, only 4s. Now, I can fill in those 2, and those will fill in as they need to be. Now, same thing over here. I'm going to go ahead and put this one way off over here in the corner. Now, just so you know, these vertical roads are also going to be, 2-lane roads as well. So it's going to shrink down my city a little bit. There we go. We got Hamlet already. Now, I got some services. We've got landfill, medical clinic, and elementary. And because I saved that 20,000 in the very beginning, I will actually be able to put all of these down right now, which, of course, keep my momentum and my city going, more people moving in, more money coming in for the thing, and you'll see me get profitable in no time. Now, whenever I hit a new milestone, I'll go ahead and pause the game, and we'll go ahead and hit save. This way, if we make a mistake later on, we want to back up, we can. Let's go ahead and call this one for Hamlet, and save. And now we got, of course, this area up here at the top for our utilities. Now, the first thing I'm going to go ahead and put down, of course, is the elementary school. Now, I'm going to put the elementary school up here. Now, before I put this down, this is going to be one of my resources, right? One of my facility buildings. Now, before I put that down, I'm actually going to upgrade the road to a 4-lane road. So this is going to be my primary side road. So I've got a bunch of primary side roads down here, or horizontal roads. These will be my primary vertical roads, right? And then this will be another primary horizontal road right about in the middle of the city, right? Roughly in the middle of the city. So I'm going to go ahead and upgrade that right there. And I'll go ahead and upgrade a couple of these. And then I'll go ahead and I'll put my thing. Now, I'm going to move this around as I go along, but I'm going to go ahead and put it right in the middle. Why don't I put it off to the side? Well, the reason why I don't want to put it to the side is this is going to be a heavy traffic area. If it's a heavy traffic area, you don't want it to be in your main roads because there's people traveling up and down those roads. You want people to go off of those roads into kind of side roads so it doesn't cause massive congestion. So that's another Kismet tip for you. So I'm going to go ahead and look at how much I just took away there. Let's see. We got 4, 4, 1, 2, 3. Let's say I'm going to go ahead and line it up by down here. Let's say right about there. All right, looking good. So we've got that down. And again, what else did we get? If we forget, we can go back in and we can look at it again, right? So we got medical clinic, elementary school, and of course, landfill. So we want to have our medical clinic, which I'm going to put right next to it as well. Now, what that's going to do is create a kind of central area where the bulk of the people are going to be going, right? They're going to end up in that area. Now, I'm actually going to leave a little bit of a gap in the middle like this. And the reason why I'm going to do that, actually, I should have moved my other one over by one. But the reason why I'm going to do that is I'm actually going to run a line down the middle itself. So I'm going to go ahead and leave a little bit of a gap. And I'm actually going to fix this one right here because I should have moved that over by one. I'm actually going to fix these. That's going to cost me some money, but such is the way it goes. Because it's got to be just so. There we go. All right, again, watch how profitable I am. Look, I'm almost 242. I'm almost profitable already. Now, we've only played for literally like 10 seconds. 10 seconds my city been running, right? And then, of course, we need some trash. So we're going to put the trash way off over here. Way off on the side of the city. This way. So what we're going to do is get our non-upgrade. There we go. I'm going to run this across here. Get kind of an idea of where we want this to be. Let's say right here. And then we're going to go ahead and take this out like this. Notice I'm just kind of using this to line up because I can't use this to line up because that's like all screwed up. So we're going to go ahead and use this road to use the guide to line that up. And we're going to, now that we have some cash, we're going to run this way out over here. Now, why am I running it way out off over here? Well, because what's going to happen is these landfills are going to start filling up. And then eventually, when I get my burners to burn the garbage, I'm going to go ahead and have to empty them, which is going to take a while. So you want to put them way off to the side. And eventually, I will actually take them out. So again, though, I do want to upgrade the road. Because anytime I put services down, I have learned to upgrade the road that I'm putting the services on. There we go. Now, I could put it down here at the bottom if I had offset it up a little bit more, but that's okay. I'm just going to put it right there. And there we go. That's just going to make it easier for me when I upgrade that road later and then put some industrial and stuff down there. That'll make that easier. All right. And eventually, these roads will connect, and also I'll have an exit up here and not connected like that once we get there. Because every road counts. Every road costs you money. Every upgrade, every building, everything you put down costs you money in your city. And you're trying to run as efficiently as possible using the minimum amount of money, but getting the biggest return. And you can literally make millions in this game by optimizing it in the right way. There we go. So we've got our utilities down. Now watch this as I become profitable in no time at all. Now I do need to keep my resources going. Right now it says it needs commercial and residential. So let me go ahead and just throw some more residential in there. There we go. I'll wait for those to fill in. I'll wait for these to fill in, and then I'll go ahead and put those in there. Like so. Now, see how my industrial is not filled in yet? If my industrial is not filled in, I don't zone more industrial. If my residential is not filled in, I don't zone more residential until it actually fills in. Let's go ahead and take a look at our power grid. Power grid's looking good. Let's take a look at our power level. Our power level's looking good up there in that charts up in the green. How's our food and water doing? Awesome. How's our trash doing? These things you always got to look at all the time, because there's certain points in the game where you got to watch out where that's going to, it's going to get low and you're going to need to add those services. And if you don't have enough money, you're screwed. You're screwed big time. That minus 855, you ain't in the green. Not yet. But watch this. Watch this. It's 223 right now. In just a second, I'm going to be profitable literally like 3 minutes into the game. 3 minutes into the game, I'm going to be producing a profito. All right, so there we go. So we got all that stuff going. There's nothing else we need to do other than just to keep filling in our zones as they fill in. There we go. Look, all those houses is filled in. Let's go ahead, fill in the rest of this residential. And you'll notice that I leave a gap there. I don't fill it in right there. Let's fill in this residential. Like so. Look at that. Profitable. Boom. Just like that. I have a profitable city right at the very beginning of the game. That's how you do it, everybody. That's how you do it. You do it by using the most minimal amount of resources for the greatest return, like in anything, right? Like in anything. And as you can see, my trucks come in. They can, and there we go. We've got to the next city, Worthy Village. Again, we'll go ahead and see what we got in this particular upgrade. We got a police station and a fire station, so we'll get those added as well. We also got an influx of cash. Notice I've got 21,000 cash now, so I got an influx of cash. Every time I upgrade my city, I get an influx of cash that helps me upgrade. Again, you want to keep your momentum constantly going in your city. So we got to add police and fire, which we'll do here in just a second. But right here in the very beginning, I've left this, of course. These will be offices eventually. I'm just going to leave that empty for now. And we've got all of our housing filled in, just like that. Pretty awesome. Now, I do like to leave, I have residential and commercial on the edges. So I will start adding some commercial in. I might de-zone some of this as we add the rest of it. And our water and sewage still looking good out there. Don't forget, by the way, when you expand, to make sure to put your piping down too, which we'll do here in just a second. So now we have 21,000. We have 242 weekly income. We're looking good. We're in the green now. We're in the green. Kismet, good to see you back. So still gurus. Yes, it's great to be back. You know, I was sick for a very long time, and also I have a terrible allergic reaction. I got a flat tire. My internet went off. All sorts of crazy stuff happened within the last couple weeks. But you never give up. You just keep going. You keep doing what you love to do every day. Believe me, it inspires you to get out of the bed, even if you're sick, even if you don't feel well, even if you don't really want to do it. You get out, you do it anyway, and then you feel better about yourself, I find. All right, so there we go. So we got it going on, and we are now a profitable city. And I will try to remain a profitable city now for the whole rest of the game. Now, sometimes you will dip down when you're kind of redoing large sections of your city, but that's okay. If you have enough reserve cash, it'll go down and then come back up again. You'll see that happen a few times in my city as we go along. So let's go ahead and put in our next thing. Now, this is a debatable thing. Where to put your fire and where to put your police. Now, I like to put my fire department by the industrial. You know why? Because the industrial is what catches on fire the most. At least in my cities it does. So as you might have noticed, I left a gap right here in this kind of main primary road that goes from this side, eventually, which will go to the other side, over that way. Goes from that side to this side. And I've left this kind of area open. Now, what I'm going to do is go ahead and do what I was talking about before, and I'm going to go ahead and upgrade this road, but I'm actually going to upgrade it twice. I'm going to go ahead and upgrade it this way, which, of course, is going to get rid of my industrial. And then I'm also going to update it like this. Now, as you can see, we've got kind of like a U shape going on. I've kind of messed up my industrial a little bit. That's going to happen as you go along. Now, of course, we've already thought about that offset when we're upgrading the road, that it's going to offset itself. And then we're going to have that extra gap in between for our footpaths and whatnot. So we're going to go ahead and do that. I don't want to do it too much because it's going to cost me too much money. I want to make sure to put down my police and fire as quick as possible. So I'm going to actually put the fire right here along this main primary road. So it can just kind of come out of the fire station, go around if it needs to in the industrial, or go to the other side, whatever it needs to do to go. Now notice how I'm going to go vertically so that it can come out and then hang a left if it needs to. Let me go ahead and show you what I mean. Because I think about how the people are going to drive, right? If I put it on this road, they've got to turn left across the intersection, right? Or if they go right this way, they can go around. If they go up this way and around. Or they come out and then they just hang a left this way, right? I mean, you could do it a whole bunch of different ways, but I think about the traffic flow a lot because that is going to be your biggest hurdle in any city is your traffic flow. So I try to put the thing along the main primary road, and this road right here is my main primary road. So I'm going to go ahead and put that right there. Now what that's going to do when that activates, watch the colors of my buildings here change color. That's telling me now I have a reduced chance of fire in that area. Now, of course, further away over here, I'm going to have some problem, right? Because I don't have a fire area close over there, and I'll add one of those later on. But right now, I need enough money now, of course, for my police station. And I just don't quite have enough because I've upgraded the roads, and it cost me a bit. So we're going to go ahead and let that run. Now, we're going to go down into a negative, as you can see there. We went down into a negative because, of course, we removed some of our commercial. Our commercial got messed up. We're like, oh, man, we got to fix that. So let's go ahead and fix our commercial. Let's go ahead and de-zone this commercial here. Again, we're going to dip down from time to time. And we're going to go ahead and zone this commercial perfectly. And I can fill in this commercial now since the ones around it have filled in. Like so. And our commercial is the thing that's going to take the most kind of hit for when we upgrade our roads later on. All right, there we go. And now we've got a kind of proper commercial queued up. And that's going to go ahead and bring our commercial back in again because we have a request for commercial. We're looking good. And, of course, that's going to bring us back to profitability. Again, don't worry about if it dips down. It'll come back up again later on. Now, also, we can use some money. We don't need police right away, though it will start to have police problems very soon. As you can see, it'll start having people start to move in and having all sorts of issues as well. Now, also, along with that, there we go. We're back to profitability now, 141, looking good. Also, what we got in that Worthy Village here is we've got, of course, new policies. We got the ability to go in and zone areas, zone different districts and stuff, which we'll play around with. And, of course, some unique buildings and whatnot we can put down for kind of the in-game stuff, which we'll do later. But right now, what we need is we need $12,000 bills. So we're just going to let our city run for a while. There's no rush. No rush. I don't have to expand right now or do anything else other than just to try to fix up my different areas here, right? Like this right here, these houses are kind of messed up. I'm going to go ahead and de-zone those. Watch as they actually auto-bulldoze, which is pretty cool. And then we're going to go ahead, fill that in properly, get rid of this. And those are still looking good there. Once I upgrade these roads, those will fix out a bit better. There we go. We could even temporarily put this here at the end of the road, which eventually I will take those out of there. But we'll go ahead and put those at the end. Just give us a little bit of extra cash so we can go ahead and just run as a profitable city. Again, this is about a minute or two into this game, and I'm already profitable. I've already got a stable city. Very important. Now, right now, it's going right here. These little symbol means that there's not enough people to work there. So eventually, you will get the population one here where you can basically see how many people are employed and all of that stuff as it goes along. But we'll keep going. We'll stay profitable here. We're about 1,083. We're trying to get to a population of 1,400 before we get that next influx of cash. And again, look what's starting to happen here. See, they're starting to do robberies. The second you get those buildings, that's when that stuff starts to happen. So if you have enough cash to do it right away, it's much better than if you don't later on. Again, I can fill this in with a commercial if I wanted to, just simply by going commercial and just going boom, filling that in like that. And then later on, I will come back and add offices. Now, what happens is, and you're going to see it happen here, look how it fills in weird, right? Like this one's this one's 3 wide. Right, if you roll over it, that one's 3 wide. This one's 4 wide. Now you've got this 3 wide gap. I can't handle it. I can't handle it when it does that. It drives me insane. So I'm actually going to take all of that back out again and say, no, 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 no. No. No, you're not doing that. Not doing that. I want to have the power to control the size of the buildings that are going to go down there. So I'm going to take those out, and then I'm going to rezone it. I could also just go in and speed it along by bulldozing it. And you can also use the B key for bulldoze. I like to click on it so you guys can see what I'm doing on stream. But there we go. So notice how I've got plenty of power because I've got the power overlap of the residential up above and the industrial down below. And there we go. So we filled that in properly. And now we'll go ahead and fill in the rest of these. And now they will fill in properly 4, 4, 4, 4 across. So you're getting the most efficient that you can. The most efficient that you can across there. Now that's probably my biggest tip is to make sure it's as efficient as possible. Now again, eventually this will be offices, but right now I want to go ahead and maximize how much cash I'm making on the minimal amount of space that I have and try to make that money very, very quickly because I want to get to 1,200 so I get my police station down, which is going to help me a lot. Now these didn't have enough workers, which is going to happen in the very beginning. So go ahead and just doze those like that because they're just an eyesore in your city. And it will show up later. Now, if you don't have enough industrial to support your city, feel free to just go ahead and throw some commercial in there as well. Just try to support that city. Keep that cash going. Notice how I'm just staying within this zone because that's where my piping is right now. Like so. And again, I'm just trying to get to 12,000. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and move this zone over to here. I'm going to de-zone this. Once I get to that 12,000, I'm going to go ahead and put my station right here because I've already got the road already set up. I can also put it on the crossroad or on the primary road. I'll probably put it this way so that it's kind of facing toward this road. Now, there is going to be a problem with this particular thing is I need to leave a gap on the side because I want to have some paths going along there that are going from about here on. Now, eventually I have to move my, fire station back too. But right now, I want to have it right there. We're getting close. Look at that. We're making 658 right now. We're making the dollar bills right now, everybody. Making them dollar bills. Very early on in game. Very, very early in game. And sometimes you have to wait a little bit. Sometimes you do it just right. You don't have to wait. If you don't upgrade your roads like I do, then you don't typically have to wait. But I do like to upgrade them first so I don't have to move them around later. So I'm going to go and put my police station right there along the primary road, which is already upgraded, so I don't have to move it around once upgraded before. There we go. We can watch the cop car coming out of there, and he's going to go ahead and get that. We're going to go ahead and double this up, make it go a little bit faster, and there we go. They're going to pick up all the bad guys. Look at that. Even though, look at this, even though this doesn't say it has reach, it still reaches way over here. Your cops will still go over here and get these bad guys, even though they're way off to the side here. Bingo, bango. Got him anyway. Even though it doesn't say it's within his patrol area, it still is. It still is. So all you really need is 2 of them, and now you're off and running. So here we go again. All right. So there we are. We're profitable. We're about 1,000 profitable right now. We're making those dollar bills. We also are getting a huge influx of people. But of course, we need more space for our residential and whatnot. So we're going to go ahead and just start expanding. Now, I've already set up the rows. I already know exactly how big I want the rows and all of that. So that's going to make that nice and easy. So I'm going to go ahead and just start with a residential row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right there. And then I'm going to go ahead and just run this up just a little bit, but not quite all the way. And then run this road across. Line that up with this other road. Like so. And then easy mode across here. Now, I don't have enough cash. There we go. Again, leaving this open because, of course, I'm going to put some utilities and whatnot in there. So there we go. So we've got that going on. Now look at this perfect kind of circle that's going on here. You've got your vehicles coming in from the freeway, right? They're coming in from the freeway. They're coming in. They're dropping off the coal to the power plant. They're providing the stuff to industrial and commercial. And, of course, all the people are coming in, living in their various houses. Now, I've got a lot of demand for residential right now. I want to go ahead and keep that going. But there's one thing I want to do first. I want to stop for a second, and I want to look at how my power is laid out. Right? So I've got my power laid out right here where I've got this power thing running right down the middle. Now, here's the cool thing about this power run. Notice how this part's been removed. The cool thing about the power run is that I can go ahead and do this, and I get the money back, right? If you do it right away. Now, if you do it later like I'm doing it now, you don't get the cash back. Like that. Okay, now, I've kind of cleared that out of the way, and I'm going to go ahead and make sure that this is tied in. Actually, let's just do... Let's take this one out, too. Tied in like that. Now, here's another reason why you pause. When you pause and you make a mistake and you take it back out again, you get a refund, right? But if you're doing it while the city is running, sometimes you don't get a refund for whatever it is, right? If I go in and I now try to refund these roads, it's been too long. It won't give me the refund. But it'll give me the refund on this. If I build it and I go, oh, wait, I don't want that, I can get some of the money back. So it really does save you in the long run. So now that power is going to chain from the city itself and then run up here and keep my water and whatnot going. Now, the next thing I'm going to need is another power plant. That is going to be the next major thing, because as I add more residential, it's going to do a massive draw on my power. We're going to go ahead, and again, we're going to go ahead, and now I'm going to actually offset it on purpose so that when I upgrade this road, that road will not affect my residential that I'm going to have there. We're going to go ahead and do this. And I'm going to show you a little trick, too. So we're going to have one here, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to have a fourth one here, and we're actually going to leave a row in the middle like this so that we can go ahead and create a walkway, right? So we'll have this is going to offset in, this is going to offset up, right? Or no, this one's going to offset up. This one's not going to offset up. That's a residential road. And then we'll have our footpath, we'll have our cross path, which we'll have right about here. And we're going to go ahead and just offset this one, so that it has that kind of extra room at the ends, like so. Now, you can figure out the math of that, too, by the way. I could have been in by 1 and just kind of figured out the math width-wise. That does help a lot as well. Helps a lot as well. All right, so there we go. So we got some residential. We got 2,000 right now, making about 1,400 per. Let's go ahead and let the city run. Now, watch as this goes to this one, and we're going to watch the power transfer. That one got that one now. Move the power to there. See, that's how I kind of control the ability of the power to spread from one place to another. I'm spreading it all the way across my city very quickly by controlling each and every house that's being built along the way. There we go. Now I've got a problem. Look at that. Water, right? We need some water on that side. So let's go ahead and pause it. Now that we've got a little bit of cash, we got about 5,000. Let's go ahead and run the water. And we're going to do some major expansions here. And we've already figured out the exact spots for our lines to go on both sides, so that makes it nice and easy to be very optimized. And again, we're gonna let it run, and there we go. And then we got our power and sewage, and again, we want to watch our power. Notice our power is starting to go down there. Again, when we get to about 20,000, or if we get to the next level of the city, we're going to get an influx of cash we can use to go ahead and use it for power. Now you guys can do something like this, where you literally just... Oh, and there we go. We got it already. You can go ahead and start to run, your vertical power. So you can run a horizontal power and a vertical power, and then you can go ahead and expand the rest of your city without having to run any power lines. All right, so what do we get this time? We got some gravel paths for making our walkways, which we'll do here in just a second. We've got some canals so we can run water through the middle of our city, which is super cool. We've got a park, which we'll put that down in just a second. And, of course, the high school, which is very important. It does help your city grow a lot. So we're going to need some money for the high school later on as well. But the first thing we need money for, and again, the name of that city was Tiny Town. Good time to save. So we'll call this number 5. Tiny Town. There we go. And we're going to need some more power. So the first thing I'm going to do is put down some power so I don't forget later. I just happen to have enough space right next to that on purpose. There we go. So we'll let that go there. And then we're going to go ahead and save up some money for our high school, which is about 24,000. So again, we're making about 2,000 every round. Again, we're just a few minutes in to running the city here, already making that big dollar bills. And as I get the question all the time, Kismet, you know, what is like the most you've ever made per month? Usually about 65,000 every month, or every kind of cycle in game I have gotten to before. And usually I only go until about 3/4 of the way into the game. I never really kind of build out the entire city. I get to a point where I'm like, okay, well, I want to start over and try some other techniques along the way. But let's go ahead and keep going. We're going to need a lot of residential. Now that we have enough power for it, let's go ahead and extend our residential. Like so. And then we'll do the same thing here. Now, see, I like to, while I'm waiting for the city to build up, I like to have something to do. Other than just to sit here and, like, watch it run, I like to have something to do, and that's why I kind of control my zoning like that. See, now I've spread the power all the way across there. See, now all the ones in between will be fine when I'm doing the power. Once it fills in, by the way, I can do kind of a little blanket action here, right here, and then like this. And there we go, getting plenty of that. And let's look at our power. Power's looking good. How's our water? Looking good. How's our trash looking? No problem. How about our health services? 100%, looking good. Average health, about 70%, which isn't too bad. We'll work on that later on. And looking good. All right. Now, we're also going to go ahead and put a park down. I'm going to go ahead and grab a park right over here, one of these like cheap parks. And I'm going to go ahead and take over as minimal amount of houses as I have to. But I also want to, again, think about the middle line of how I'm going to have those walking paths go right down the middle, right? Want to think about that as well. There we go. How are we looking? Oh, we're getting close. Look at that. 14,000 already. Closing in on that high school. Closing in on that high school. Let's keep going on our residential over here. Like so. Bam. Get that one in a second. Now, you might be like, Kismet, how's the power going to get from one side to another? But watch this. Watch as the power gaps from here all the way over to here. You can actually have an 8 gap in between there, and the power will actually chain from one side to the other. See? Like that. You jump from one part. Even the gap in between wasn't far enough to where you couldn't get your power to cross over there. So great way to chain your power across your entire city. It's just to figure out how far of a gap minimum or maximum can you do. That's the stuff I like to figure out. Like what are the sizes of the objects? What are the sizes of the biggest buildings? The utilities? What are the sizes I need to leave for footpaths, for train tracks, for all of that stuff? What are those sizes equal? And I like to do that. It's a lot of fun. D-zone this one. D-zone that one for now while the other ones fill in. Zone in this one. And we also have some down here. Now again, you can just, zone the whole thing at once. It's up to you. It'll be awkward. It'll do like, weird sizes of housing, but it's really up to you what you want to do. And I can't handle it when they're all like, not full size houses. And again, look at that as we've left this gap. Notice we didn't leave the gap over here. We'll have to fix that later on so that the gap kind of lines up as it goes along. So there we go. Now again, we can always come back and fix stuff as we have money, because right now we got $25,000 bills already. 25,000 already. Sup, Rigbo? What's up? We're having a great time playing some City Skylines, showing you guys all my awesome techniques. Now let's go ahead and put the high school down, which is going to give us a huge boost. Notice how I just happen to have enough space between the high school and the park. I did that on purpose by figuring out the size ahead of time. Before I put the roads down, I offset that gap. I thought about how wide is the park and the high school so that when I put it down, it puts down pretty perfect. Now, I could also offset it by one more so it can run behind the high school. That would have been awesome, but we're going to go ahead and just go with it for now because they can always run through the middle of the park as well, which is right here. Let me go ahead and get out of this so you guys can see that park action. So we got the park there. We've got a gap area we can do here. This is going to have a lot of people coming and going. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. See, a lot of people are going to be coming and going from the high school, from the clinic, from Zara. So it's really kind of compact in this one area right here where the major traffic is. So traffic here for my residential, and then lots of heavy truck traffic down here. So the traffic is very split up, right? There shouldn't be that many trucks going to this side of town, right? It's going to go commercial and industrial on this side, residential here in the middle, and kind of go in that direction, like that. Now it's demanding more industrial, so let's go ahead and put some more industrial in. Actually, just run it like that. Looking good, looking good. And how we looking on power? Looking good. Water, looking good. Everything is looking sweet. All right, now what else did we get in our last thing? We got our parks, which we put down, our high school. I don't really put in these other parks down, especially this early. And we got our walk pass. So let's go ahead and start on our walking pass while we're waiting for our city to kind of get to the next level, right? Our city, we're trying to get it up to the 2,600 population where we can do freeways, cemeteries, bus depots. We'll talk about buses and public transport here in a second. But we want to talk about foot traffic, right? So where's my foot traffic going? My major foot traffic is going toward this building right here for my residential, right? Now, I've already left in some room so I can go ahead and run some foot pass right down the middle here. Now, one of the problems with the game is that, let me zoom out a little bit, is that by default, the road guidelines mess you up, right? Like when you're trying to put this down, sometimes it won't snap actually in the circles, right? It won't snap in the circle into the square. It'll offset and try to align itself up to the road. So what I do is I turn the road guidelines off, and then this is called the grid. So it'll line up to the grid. Makes it a lot easier to run various paths. Now, you've got your cement pass and your dirt pass. Your dirt pass and your cement pass, this is 40 per week, and this is 0.24 per week, so about half the cost. 10 per cell, 20 per cell. I like to start with a gravel path, and then later on you can, of course, upgrade it. I'm going to put it right through the middle of this house, and now it's got a cross path. Now, so if the people want to go from here, they don't have to walk all the way around to the other side. They don't have to take their car back to their house and then walk their car back there. They don't have to walk all the way around. They can cut through the middle. So basically, instead of making a road down the middle, you make a footpath for your people to walk, and they won't have to take their cars, and they won't have to walk all the way around. They'll get where they're going much faster. And that's why I kind of leave a bit of a gap down the middle, like this, along the way. There we go. Now I'm going to go ahead and leave it all the way down, and we're going to fix this. Now you can do this beforehand, or you can do it, beforehand or after the fact. It's up to you. Meaning, like, you did it, you're like, oh, I screwed it up. Hold on, I got to fix it. Kind of thing, like we're doing right now. Or you can do it ahead of time, like I did over here in this one, right? Now, again, I like to let it run while I'm doing something else, so I work on the footpaths right about now while my stuff is upgrading and showing up. Now, as I add footpaths, you'll see that these houses actually upgrade because, of course, this is making the areas much nicer. And, of course, the more utilities I add, the more embellishment to the city that I add, the more that it will upgrade. So I'm going to go ahead and also add a cross one here along this edge to the park here. Now, sometimes it'll snap to the park. Sometimes it won't. But we're going to go ahead and run it all the way from this side to this side. So now they can walk the long way, too. And you'd be like, Kismet, they're not even going to use those paths. So, really? They use those footpaths. They use them a lot. They use them a lot. They actually are really super helpful. And as you can see, they're walking down this way. And they're walking over here. They're using the park here to cross over this way, to go behind the area here. Now, it'd be nicer if I could just go like that, right? And then have it so it's actually connected to that, which you can do. Or in this case, we'll go ahead and take this out. We'll connect this like that. And notice how I reverse it. So it didn't work this way, but when I'm taking it away from the park and running it, it worked the other way, right? Now they'll walk down that footpath, and they'll go through the park. So the park actually becomes part of my footpath, as well as increases the quality of the area, and of course upgrades my residential. So there we go. Oh, somebody got timed out again. Timed out for too much something. Oh, well. Baby was born on your birthday. Awesome. Awesome. What's up, kids? This is Rigbo. Hello, Marcus Shadowfire. Thanks for hanging out, buddy. Sorry you got timed out, bro. A little spam in my chat, but thanks for hanging out. Appreciate you hanging out in the stream. Thanks for hanging out. Sometimes I do get focused if you use my name, Kiz or Kismet, in the chat. It'll highlight in red, so I know you're talking to me. It'll stay there at the top of my chat permanently until I tell it to go away, so I will never miss your comment or question. It's super easy to talk to me. All right, so there we go. We've got our foot pass underway. That's going to help the congestion of our city. Now, we kind of wonkied our city down here at the end because we, of course, cut through here, so now it's gone down to 3s there. We will fix all that later when we upgrade all of our stuff. Look at that. We got 22,000 cash already. We're making about 1,600 per round, making them dollar bills, everybody. And we've got all of our services running and everything. So really, really fantastic start to the game here. Now, I could, in theory, just let the game run. Just walk away from the game right now, let it run for 8 hours, and I would have millions of dollars. I could do that. But I like to have it keep going as I'm keep going. I find that a lot of fun. To have it keep running on. All right, so now we've got to get everybody down from the residential. And we want them to walk from the residential all the way and get here to the commercial, right? So how do we get them to get all the way to here without ever having to cross the road? So what we're going to need to do is create a raised footpaths or bridge footpaths, which I wish I had in real life in my city, because then I could walk everywhere and never have to wait for a light, right? So what we're going to do right here at the end is we're going to go ahead and pause this for a second by hitting the space bar. I'm going to go ahead and go in here, and I'm going to go ahead and remove these buildings. I'm going to go ahead and de-zone those, and I'm actually going to create a footbridge. Take that out. I'm going to create a footbridge. Now, I'm going to tell you the secret to making bridges. Bridges are actually fairly tough to make at first. But once you get them down, then they're not so hard. So the first thing you want to do is make the bridge first and then make the ramps after that, okay? So I'm going to use page up on the keyboard. And there we go. We can see that now I've got kind of a raised area that's above the actual, above the road. So I'm going to go ahead and send it across. Boom. There we go. Now we've got that going on. Now I'm going to show you a little trick that sometimes happens with these about the elevation. I'm going to show you how to fix that as well. But I'm going to go ahead and then run it this way. And then I'm going to go down. And the minimum area you should be able to do, counting the very first one. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the minimum you should be able to do. And then put that down like that. Now, why did I do that? Well, the people walking from this way will go up and over, and the people walking from this other direction will go up and over like that. Nice and easy, up over the footpath. And then over behind this, like so. Behind this, I'm going to go ahead and click on this, and then again, good to go, there we go. Click on the top. And then down, I could put it right here, but I have a tendency to put it out one, just because it ends up better. And then let's go ahead and do our gravel road. Now the people from over here can walk this way, up over, and end up on this outside without ever having to go to a light at all, ever. They can go ahead and do that nice and easy right down the middle of the thing, right? So all we have to do is just basically rinse and repeat that all the way down the way. Now, I also want to have a cross walkway so they can walk from one side to the other. Now, one of the things you're going to make sure to remember or think about is that your road, when you upgrade it, is going to move in, right? It's going to push all this stuff in and eliminate a lot of these buildings and including your walkways. So you might have to redo a lot of your walkways when you start upgrading your roads to 4-lane roads and all that stuff later on. Just keep that in mind. So I'm going to go ahead and offset it by 1 away from the stuff there. And let's go ahead and then continue down. Now what I'm going to do is actually take these roads back out again, these crossroads. And let's do it this time with the ability to kind of cross over those each individual lanes without ever having to end up at the bottom there. So again, we're going to go ahead and start by doing our bridges. Now what you can also do is just do all the bridges across the street. right? So you go to all the streets here. We'll back out a little bit. You go to all the streets and just do the bridges. And there's about 50 ways of doing the same thing, but you get the idea. I'm going to cross this bridge there. So there we go. So we've got bridges. And then we're going to go ahead and go down, and I can actually connect that directly to the path. Kind of put that in a better angle so you can see that. I'm going to go ahead and go here, and then down, like so. Click up here. I'm making this look easy, but there we go. And you want to click at the top of it. Click at the top of it so that it has that angle. Again, I'm going to have to redo all of this later on. Just a heads up. But I'm just kind of doing it while we're waiting. Like that. And actually, we'll just go ahead and let the city run. Now, there's, of course, 100 different ways of doing the same thing that I'm doing. But it is a lot of fun. Oops. It is a lot of fun to go in and do this. Now, what happened there is that erased what I was doing because I clicked at the bottom and not at the top. Got to click at the top there. Then it will connect it properly. All right, same thing here. To the middle. Click at the top. Middle. So on. Rinse and repeat. All the way across. Now this one here at the end, temporarily, I'm going to go ahead and have this go flare out like this. Now notice it says slope too steep. I'm going to show you how to fix that right now. If it says slope is too steep, in the same thing that we're using here, let's go ahead and pause this. And the same function that we're using right here under landscaping is the ability to raise or lower the actual building or the actual earth itself. You can only do so much though. Notice the soil availability up there. But what you can do is go ahead and raise up this area a little bit. I'm using the left mouse button to raise it up a little. Same thing on this side, just a little bit. You don't have to do a whole lot. Just raise it up a little bit and then try it again. Try those footpaths again and see if you can go ahead and get that in there just like that. There we go. So basically it wouldn't let me go. I could only go out 5 and I wanted to do just minimum 4, but now it will let me do it. And there we go. We've got that flared out. Now, another thing to do later on, you'll see me actually flare this out like this, right here in the middle between the two buildings, so that they could actually go up in there and cross over. We're also going to do some angled stuff as well. So there we go. So let's go ahead and fill in the rest of our paths here. And again, since this is where our utilities are, our stuff, we want to make sure that this kind of center path is all squared away. And that's looking good. There we go. So let's go ahead and test it out. Let's go ahead and let it run. And I'm going to go ahead and pause for a second. I'm going to get this person... Get out of here. I'm going to get this person right here, and we're going to follow them, and we're going to see how far they go. Right? Right now, going to the quiet corner shop, and we're going to follow them like that. Zoom out a little bit, and go. Let's see if they use the footpaths. Oh, crossed over there. Crossed over on that edge. Went to the commercial area. Get some food, probably. And then gonna head back. I'm thinking of buying this game. Do you recommend it on Xbox, though? Absolutely, Tim Mans. I absolutely recommend this game. It is incredibly good. If you like doing any city simulators at all, they have done a phenomenal job on this game. And I'm not getting paid to tell you that. I'm not sponsored by them. I'm not going to get anything out of it. So I just tell you straight up. And if it sucked, I would tell you too. So there you go. That's the way I am. There we go. So she went back home. And again, you saw her using those footpaths. She used the footpaths to get around to get to the commercial. And then, of course, she walked home. Now, as you can see, a lot of people crossing over the intersections as they go along there, too. You'll see me kind of fix those intersections so that the intersections don't get bogged down by people crossing those intersections too often, right? Great example is right here by the school and whatnot. By the way, I've got $40,000 bills already over there, if you didn't notice that. Right over here by the school, we can actually go ahead and see what our traffic is like by using this thing right up here. Oh, got our boomtown already. There we go. And we've, of course, got all of that. We got our bus depot and our cemetery. Nice. Let's go ahead and pause that. Let's go ahead and save. And we'll call this Boom! Boom! Okay, so we can go ahead and see what our traffic is like, where people are coming from and where they're going. Vital for doing your city. By simply clicking on this right here, traffic routes, clicking on your high school, and you can see where people are coming from. The green lines are people, and then the blue lines are people using their private vehicles to get there. So let's go ahead and watch it a little bit, and let's see where people are coming from. So we can see that people are crossing over this, this intersection here. They're walking from way over here as well, from these various residential area, walking all the way there. We can see there's a lot of people walking down our center line here as well, using those footpaths to get all the way down here as well. Very nice. This guy's got to go that way and then crosses over there. Very, very nice. And you can see they're all coming in here. Now, another thing that you can do that I like to do, and you could figure it out ahead of time, or you can just come back and fix it later, and that is to run paths down the center here too. A great example is when you want to go ahead and create a gap like this from one edge to the other, and then of course you want to have a slope going down. But notice again it says the slope is too steep. Again, the way we fix that is we go in, tap a little tappy like that, raise that up just a little bit, click on it again, and like magic, fixed. There you go. I just saved you hours of your life just in that little thing right there. That took me a while to figure that out. Took me a while to figure that out. And then again over here, it says slope too steep. We'll go ahead and bulldoze this house. And again, little tappy right at where that area where you're going to be putting that. And we'll go ahead and click at the top. And down. And still not good enough. See, it should be right there. Bam. Like that. Now it is good. It is good. So there we go. So we've created that gap. Now they can cross the street, right? So instead of using the crosswalk, watch as they start to use the overpass instead. So the people going left to right are using the overpass, right? Now how can I get these people coming down the street to use the walkway? Why are they not just walking around and then using the walkway instead of crossing this? Now, this is not, these roads that I'm using right now do not have streetlights, which is great because you have reduced traffic in the very beginning. But later on, of course, you're going to need to upgrade them and have streetlights and all that stuff. So the way I can get these people that are walking this way to use the footpaths is to run a footpath in this direction. And again, it says slope too steep. No problem. We're going to fix that. Bam, bam, bam. Over here as well. And we're going to go ahead, run it this way, like that. And again, let's watch as they start to use the footpath instead to cross the street or go down that way. See? Now they're crossing the street this way and going that way. And watch as this nearly stops, right? It's going to nearly stop. More people are going to use the overpass than actually crossing the street. And I've just reduced a massive traffic headache. I just saved you massive time reducing your traffic headaches because the traffic has to wait for people to cross the street, right? Which takes forever. Look, there's nobody crossing the street now. There's nobody crossing it. Just from this this footpath that we created, right? So that just reduced a lot of traffic issues, right? So now people can just drive down the street without having to worry about pedestrians crossing over. Again, I wish this was in real life. It'd be awesome. It'd be awesome. It's good to know all this far when I do buy it. Yes, there you go. Now this video will also be available on my YouTube, so you guys can check that out as well. So if you do need that, feel free. If you do get it later on, you're like, Kismet, I would like to go back and watch the stream again. It will be up there under City Skylines as well. So you guys can come back and watch all my tips on getting started. So footpaths are a godsend. They are incredibly amazing. They will help you a lot in reducing that massive amount of traffic that does happen in your cities. Now, of course, we do need to, of course, go in, worry about our cross traffic. Let's go ahead and get that, let's get our cross paths in. Again, I'm going to redo all of these paths later on. I'm just going to go ahead and run it right here. Get our cross paths in. We've got that cross path in. This one here we need to put in. Again, you want to try to put stuff in such a way where you don't have to redo it a lot. So I try to think about that ahead of time. You know, how can I put stuff in that I'm not going to have to redo, and houses that I'm not going to have to bulldoze and redoze. Now, industrial and stuff like that, it isn't too bad to doze those. Actually, it's kind of better because sometimes it kicks out the businesses that you don't want. But residential, I don't like to boot until I get dense residential. I don't like to boot it. I like to keep it as stable as possible because that's a nice stable income coming into my city. So again, notice how we're kind of cross-connecting the lengthwise and then also widthwise. So we don't have a lot of car intersections. You don't want to have a lot of car intersections. The more car intersections you have, the more congestion you'll have. Reduce that as much as possible. I feel like I'm kind of fighting with the music here. Hold on a second. Why is my music so loud? Dang, it's like way down. I still like, seems to be incredibly loud. All right, there we go. There we go. All right, looking good. So we've got all of that set up. We've got it going. We've got some footpaths going. Now we could go in, of course, put even more footpaths. We're going to put footpaths right down the center, but we're not going to do it right now because you know what we're going to do? We're going to say wow. I want to see everybody say wow in the chat in the count of 3 right here. Check it out. That's right. We've been literally this city has been running for about, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes, and I have $105,000 in just that amount of time. So if you did exactly what I just did, you could make $105,000 in game just like that and still be profitable by 2,000. So now we got tons of cash to expand our settlement, and we also upgraded it. We reduced our traffic already, and we're ready to kind of upgrade and keep going. So let's see some wows in the chat, everybody, because that was pretty good. That was some pretty good tips right there. Pretty good tips on how to start really, really well here in City Skylines. Again, upgrade the roads where you're putting your municipal stuff, and then all that other stuff as well. So let's go ahead and look at the next thing that we need to do. What do we get in our next upgrade under Boomtown? We got some transport, bus things. We got level 3 unique buildings. We got ore specialization. We'll get into all that later. We got different policies like recycling and things like that. I don't need any of that stuff. And of course, freeways, which we can fool around with later. But really, the thing we want to worry about is cemetery and bus depot. Now, the cool thing about a cemetery is people like the cemetery. They don't mind it to be right in the middle of the city, right? So we're going to go ahead and go in here, and we could take it and we could drop it right here in the middle of the city, and the people will be fine. Now, the problem is this cemetery is going to fill up. And then eventually, I want to get rid of the cemetery and use this right here, which is a crematorium. And the same thing with my garbage. I want to get rid of the landfill site eventually, and then, of course, put an incineration plant in. And multiple of those in. So I'm going to actually go way off over here again to get it out of the way, because it's going to take a while. While I'm expanding the rest of my city, it's going to take a while to empty that out, and then, of course, get rid of all of that. So I want it to be way off on the side, so it's not interfering with my city while I'm building it. So I'm going to go ahead and upgrade that road again. I'm going to go ahead and put the cemetery way over here next to this. There we go. And again, you can put it right in the middle of your city. They don't mind. They don't mind the crematoriums right in the middle of the city, which is where I'm going to put them eventually. But anything like garbage, power plants, industrial, that stuff should be away from your residential so your people aren't getting sick all the time. And, of course, it will cause lots of deaths. Oh, Show Lead coming in with the host. Thank you so much for that, host. Appreciate the love. There we go. General Stonewall, I mean, kids, how's it been? It's been awesome, other than having the flu, having a flat tire, having my internet go off, and other calamities that have happened in the last couple weeks, as well as I've had an allergic reaction for months and months and months. It itches like crazy. I break out all over. I don't know what it's from. But I've been taking a lot of allergy medicine, and I had to see my allergist and my doctor, and man, I've been working on it for months. It's just starting to go down now. It's just starting to go away, which is great, because it was all over everywhere, all my chest and my arms and my legs. It was torture. It was like massive torture. But in this case, I am doing fantastic. I'm playing some games on Reverse. What's up? So Lead bringing in that awesome So Lead emotes. Andre Burst coming in with the elbow drop. Boom! Dropping that 3-month sub mob. Look at that. Your little baby dragon growing up. Very awesome. Andre Verse in already. Whoop, whoop. Glad you're back. I am back. And not only am I back, but I'm bonus streaming. I'm streaming more. I'm bringing more videos your way. I'm bringing more content, more entertainment to the stream for you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. I love playing this game. I love hanging out with you guys. I really did miss you. I miss you big time when I'm not streaming. So I'm glad to be back. I'm stronger now. I feel better. I feel like I do a lot of stuff. So what a life. Oh my God. I know, huh? Well, that is the roller coaster of life. Now, if there's anything hopefully you take away from my stream is a little positivity in your day, a little inspiration to go out there and chase what you love to do. Follow that passion every single day. Don't let nobody's negativity sit right here, everybody. Don't let it sit on your shoulder. You know what you do? Boom, knock that sucker off of there. It's not your job to carry around other people's negativity around. No, your job is to do what you love to do every day and follow that passion every single day. I've done it all my career, 25 years as a graphic designer, been with my wife for 25 years as well, and she's a strong woman, so you got to be a strong man to be with a strong woman, I tell you. And of course, I've got to do also what I love, of course, gaming. Now I'm a professional and partnered gamer here on Twitch, which is pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. Those pie-in-the-sky dreams do come true. You got to work at it, though. I work at it 7 days a week. It took me 2.5 years to get partnered. It wasn't easy, and it's probably still not going to continue to be easy, but that's part of the challenge, is to keep yourself motivated in there. So if you get a little bit motivated by my stream, I've done something right today. I've done something right. Let's see. Everyone, hopefully I got anywhere close to your name. Now, I do butcher people's names quite often here in the stream. It's part of my charm. Thank you so much for coming in, dropping the dragon hammer, crushing that follow button, becoming part of the Kismet Army. Welcome, welcome. Yes, how are we doing on that? I haven't even looked at how many people we've got so far. Let's see. What are we at right now? 17,000 strong in the Kismet Army. Thanks for hanging out. Missed your positivity, says Andre Verse. Well, thank you so much. Well, hopefully I can inspire you a little bit in your day. Have a little bit of a better day. Maybe you had a bad day. Your dog bit you. Your neighbor's a jerk. Your boss is a jerk. Whatever it is, you're like, screw all that. I just want to kick back. I want to watch Kismet build. I want to learn how he does his cities so I can make myself some epic cities and city skylines, or just chill out. Because, you know, you're at the end of the day. Maybe you're studying. Maybe you're having something to eat. You just want to chill out, watch some Twitch, and have some fun. That's what my stream is all about. And a lot of amazing people in the chat to say hello to as well. So yes, we got 100,000 buckaroonies already, just a few minutes in to building our city. We got some cool footpaths going, and now it's time to have some fun doing some upgrades, right? So we're going to start building out the rest of our city here, adding some more industrial, because we have a huge request for industrial and commercial as well. And of course, we want to expand our residential out some more. We're going to probably expand to the right, and then we'll expand up, and then up again, and then up again. Just so you know, by the way, this will be the only services that I add right here in the center. And I will expand this way, up and around, and the only services I'll have is in this one block. That's right. I'll show you how. I'll show you how to do it. Let's go. All right. Let's keep on going. So we unlocked the next one, which was Boomtown. Next one is Busy Town, 5,500. We're going to get a whole bunch of 3-lane roads, and we're going to go, of course, get the major upgrades of all of our utilities as well. That's going to be sweet. And, of course, we've got to micromanage our money. We've got to stay in that positive while we're going as well. Though sometimes it will dip down in negative as you go along. That's okay. But as you've noticed, I have a lot of momentum right in the very beginning of the game. I mean, a massive amount of momentum that just leads to one thing to the next, to the next, to the next, and allows me to put down my utilities and continue to expand my city without having to really wait around for a long period of time for that cash. Now, the next thing we need to think about is our electricity and also food and water, which is going to be very, very useful eventually, as well as our bus stops. Now, one of the things I was thinking about in here is where is the most optimum places? And I Googled it, by the way, everybody. I Googled how do they figure out where to put bus stops? I don't know. I'm not a city planner, though I have worked with a lot of people at various cities and know people who are city planners. And I went out and searched out how they choose where to put bus stops. Well, bus stops are based on, of course, where people are coming from, where they're going to, and where the most optimum place is for a person to get where they're going and then get back again, right? So that's what you want them to do. Now, Now, what I did in the very beginning, and I'm sure some of you did the same, is I'm like, boom, 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 bus stop every like 2 steps, right? Bus stop here, bus stop there, bus stop, bus stop, bus stop, all the way across that way, straight up and down this way. No, 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 no. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. Bus stops should be along your main roads, right? So this main road that runs right down here, the middle of the city, let's take a look. This main road that runs right down the middle of the city is where my bus line is going to be. It's not going to go this way in the beginning, only straight up and down. Because the people that are up here want to go down here to go to work. The people down here who are at work want to go back home, right? So we're going to run our bus lines literally just straight up and down that road. Pretty easy, right? Same thing when we expand out over on this side, this main road, bus lines vertically this way. And eventually, by the way, we will take those bus lines out and we will turn that into a metro line, which will be even better because it can move more people than our bus lines can, and it'll take them off of the road as well. All right. Now, of course, a lot of people want to be up here where our clinic and our educational stuff is, as well as our park here. We want, of course, want to have lots so we can go back here. Now, we're also going to add some fire and police up here eventually, but for right now, we're going to go ahead and just go with that. So we're going to go ahead and do our bus station. Now, I always thought that the bus station would be great right here when you first come in, right? You got your bus station right here where you first come in, and then everybody can go right in the bus station, and then, of course, take the bus into the rest of the city. No. No, no, no. I have done that. It's a huge mistake. Now, why is it a huge mistake? That's because all of your buses are going to be right in the way of the trucks, right, that are coming in and out of your city, right? Those trucks, you don't want to obstruct the trucks. Your trucks are your number one thing you don't want to obstruct because they come in, they bring coal to your power plants, they bring resources into your commercial, they drop off stuff in your industrial, they import and export stuff in your industrial. You don't want those buses blocking that entrance, right, or the exit, either one. So I actually take the bus station and I put it in the boonies. I put it in the boonies way out over here. Now you might like, Kismet, why are you going to put it right here? Well, people want to go to the educational places, right? To the elementary school or whatever. So actually a great place for the bus station is way over here by your area where everybody wants to go. So I'm going to go ahead and put the bus station right here. Now what's cool about putting it right here is the fact that, one, I've already upgraded the road, right? So when I expand the road, I don't have to move it later. Also, the people who are over here can walk over the road without having to cross the road. They can walk over the road, right down into the bus station. So there you go. So there's where you want to start your bus stop from, right? So you want to start your bus stop from one of the busiest places away from your main industrial, right? And we're going to go ahead and put our first bus stop right there, right? And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to make a line there. And we're going to space it out, let's say, every 3 roads or so. So we're going to go ahead and put one right here. 1, 2, 3 roads. Let's say right about, actually, let's go about here, or we can go here. And then, of course, we also want to look at what our things is, right? So this is commercial or residential here. So all these people can just walk to the end, get the bus stop, and then take it down this way. And again, we'll keep our bus stop going. Now we want to go ahead and continue this. Now, if you accidentally forgot, you can go ahead and click on it again to kind of pick up where you left off, if you got out of it like I did. And then we're going to go ahead and add a stop here. And then I'm going to go ahead and add a stop right here. Now, what I want to do is I want the bus to turn around and go the opposite direction, right? How can I do that? How can I get it to go back the opposite direction? Well, I could have it turn around right here, which I don't want it to do because that's going to be blocking my incoming traffic. But I'm going to actually have it sweep around right there, and then I'm going to have it sweep around and end up back over here again, right across the way from the other bus stop. And then again right here, like that, and across the street from this bus stop. If you look at something like Los Angeles, like Anaheim, places like that where Disneyland is, they usually have the bus stops right across from each other, and they are spaced out in such a way where people can walk to them, but they don't have 1,500 bus stops. They only got so many because you only need so many. And there we go. We'll add a stop there, and then we'll go ahead and complete the line like so. Now notice how this guy's got to go this way, back around, and go like this. Now, there is a better way of doing that. You can also create a line that just goes like in a circle one way and it goes in a circle the other way. So let's go ahead and try that. Let's go ahead and cancel this like so. Let's cancel this because this is not very efficient. So we're going to have it go this way. So we're going to have a bus stop. Oh, let's back up. There we go. So we have one here. We've got one here by this residential on that side. We got one way down here, right? And what we're going to do is we're going to have it come around on the other side of the road like this. And we're going to go ahead and try to sync up to the other side as best we can. Let's say right about there. And let's say right there, because we're going to expand that on. So there's going to be stuff on that other side eventually too. And then there we go. So now this bus line goes in a circle, right? So it only goes in that circle, and it only has a few bus stops. Oh man, our time's up already. It only has a few bus stops. So this is the key. I'm showing you the magic trick to how to make bus lines work. Now you can make them just go up and down that main road, or you can make them go in circles. Now the reason why I'm making it go in circle, because we look at the layout of our city, or how our city is going to be eventually, I can visualize it in my head, is that I'm going to expand this side over here. Let me get my arrow. I'm going to expand this side over here, right, like this, and then I'm going to expand this side over here. So this is actually going to service this, and the part in between by going around like this, right? So it's going to collect all that stuff. Now, what if the person was here and they wanted to go over here? Well, they'd have to go this way all the way around, which would suck, right? That would suck to do that. So what we want to do is we want to have a bus route that's going in the opposite direction. Now, one of the things that I do right away is I go right up here to Lines Overview. I click on that, and I change the color of the bus route. I don't care what it is, any color other than blue, because blue is the default one that you usually create. So I'm going to create a green one for that route. All right? Now, we're going to go ahead and do the same thing. We're going to go ahead and do it in the opposite direction. And we're going to add stops at similar places so people can get off the bus going one way, cross the street, and get the bus going the opposite way, right? So if they came around, they went to something, and they want to go back the other way, they can do that. By the way, they do the same thing in real life. In real life, they have the same thing, buses going in different directions. So if you wanted to, you could cross the street and go the other way back where you came from. So you come this way, go to Disneyland, and you say, you know what, I need to go back to my hotel, cross the street, get the bus, go back the other way, back to your hotel, which is how you want to think about bus lines. And bam, there we go. We've got our two bus lines going. Let's go ahead and give that a different color. Let's give it a green, but a different kind of darker green. And then we know those are our two opposing bus lines. Let's go ahead and let that go. And that's it. That's all you need. Don't make it more complex than that. Don't run it down every single street. It's not necessary. You're gonna have too many buses. You're gonna basically overwhelm your city. Now look at this. Here goes the buses. They're going out. Look at this. We're getting upgrades in all of our cities now, and all of our buildings are getting upgrades because we added a bus line. Oh, look at that. Nice, nice. And there goes our buses. Now we can actually look at the things. If you didn't know you could do this, check it out. You can look at the individual bus lines. How many people are on those buses and control how many buses are running those lines. Now I'm going to turn it down to about 2 buses on both of my lines and see how that does, right? That just saves me some money in the very beginning, right? And I'm going to look at the bus stops. I got 5 people waiting at this bus stop. I got 8 people waiting at that one. 0, 30, 60. I got 60 people at that bus stop right there. Uh-oh, that's not good. That's not good. Let's go ahead and click on it. Where's that bus stop? Oh, right here. Look at this. A lot of bus line waiting right here. People waiting to go back where they need to go. It's on this side, so they're waiting to go this direction. As you can see, so they're waiting to go back to home, or they're waiting to go to school, right? So I need to have more buses to get that one going on. So this one right here needs to have more buses, so I make sure that it picks everybody up as it goes. Now see, this is 36, so that's going to be more than this bus can handle. So as it picks it up, notice we've got 18 left over, 19 by the time this bus gets here. Again, these are the buses and these are the bus stops. So by the time that one gets there, is it too full to pick that up? If it is, then I'll add another bus. Let's see. I say yes. That's 30, and this already has 10. Let's see. Yes, all right. So let's go ahead and add a third one for now. And there we go. And that should be able to run that. Let's look at our other line. How's that line looking? We got 22 at this place right here. Where's this at? Let's go ahead. It's right there. So, yeah, this kind of around the street from the from where the school is. But that bus is full. See, that's 3 of 30 there. But then, of course, it did just drop it off. But then, of course, it did miss some people along the way. We don't want that to happen. Move over a little bit so we can see how many vehicles we have. So we want to go ahead and add a third one there as well. Now, this is a great way to micromanage how much you're spending on your bus lines. You don't want to have 15 buses. If you have 15 buses going from one line, you got too many buses. You need to add some more lines with less buses, right? So 3 going here is going to be very efficient in the very beginning. As I grow my city, I will have to go up to 5, 6, maybe 10, or add some more kind of express bus lines that go from the university to residential, or university to industrial, or from my areas that are like tourist areas to the areas that are for mass transit and all of that stuff. So what I just did right here is I reduced my car trips by 62%. Did you see it? It went down to 50 now. But I reduced it by 62%. 62% of the cars are not on the street. Right now, 50% of the cars are not on the street. I just reduced my traffic by 50%. That's why these bus lines are so vital, right? 67%. You see that? 62% on this one. 67% reduction in the amount of cars that need to be on the road simply by adding 2 simple bus lines with 3 buses each. And there you go. There you go. So that is probably the hardest thing in any game, is to make sure that you reduce your traffic and that your traffic flow is great. The buses aren't interfering with my trucks coming in and out. Look how light my traffic is. That is nice. Now, when you look at your traffic, it's still going to show you red zones. That's okay. That's just a lot of traffic coming in and out of there, and we're going to fix that in the future. But as you can see, the traffic is flowing really, really well. The buses can make it through there. They're not obstructing too much. I don't have too many cross intersections, so it's not interfering with it. This cross intersection, eventually, by the way, I will either make a bridge there or I will make it go underground. Or I will make an exit over here so that these trucks, when they're coming this way, don't have to cross over to go out of the city, right? So I can just basically make it where they can go this way and then go back out and get back on the freeway, which is a good way because you want to think about how your traffic comes in and how your traffic goes out. We'll do all that, of course, next time. I'll be playing City Skylines again next Wednesday at 12 noon. So if you'd like to see even more of this city kind of going along, again, still have 100,000 buckaroonies over there. We're going to be doing a bunch of upgrades to the town and a whole bunch of more embellishment stuff. I'm going to show you some of the other more advanced different utilities and stuff to use as well. So we're going to go ahead and save right there. Right there, we're going to go ahead and call this number 7 for next time. Or let's call this dollar bills. Dollar bills. There we go. Dollar bills right there, everybody. Making them dollar bills. Now, what I could do right now, by the way, when I'm off stream, or I could just leave and just leave it on stream, but I could let this city run right now. I could let it run, and just as it is right now. Of course, it will eventually fill up with trash. That's one thing you got to watch out because I don't have incinerators yet. Oh, I forgot to put water out here. Oh, I'm glad I looked at that. Hold on, let's run our water. My bad. My bad. Let's say that again, so I don't forget that for next time. There we go. So what I can do, eventually this is going to fill up, this landfill site. Right now it's about 59%, so I'm going to have to add another one of those soon. And then the same thing with this. Oh, I forgot to run power too. Man, I am out of it today. I am out of it. All right, let's run some power on the back here. There we go. And again, save that for next time. So what I want to do is I want to keep expanding this out, and then I could just let it run and literally have millions of dollars, and I can just build a city however I want. But I find it's actually better if you want to learn the game. I'm going to take my red arrow out of there. If you want to learn the game, it's better to play as you're progressing. because you really learn how to optimize things as you go along, and then it makes it easier to manage your city later because you've kind of built it up in chunks as you go. You don't want to rush it. You don't want to put down a giant industrial area or a giant residential, especially because you know what's going to happen? All of those people at some point are going to get old age, and they're all going to die at once. And if you don't have enough funds to fund your city through that massive death, you're going to be in trouble. So you want to add your residential in sections, add your industrial in sections, and so forth as you go along. So I'm sorry, everybody, but my time is up. I do have to pick up my kids. I hope you guys enjoyed this bonus stream. If you did enjoy this bonus stream, throw a 1 in the chat. Also, if you did enjoy the stream, hit that follow button right up there. It does help the stream a lot. You'll know when I go live. I'll be back tonight, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, playing Fallout 4 modded, doing a mega playthrough with mods, playing some settlements, as well as a bunch of other fun stuff. As well as I'll be back tomorrow playing 12 noon, playing They Are Billions. You can watch me get my butt owned because I'm really good at those type of games, but I got smacked, man. I got like, here you go, Kismet. Here's a little reality check. Bam, you're dead. I just tested it. I was like in there just trying to figure out how to make it work, and it owned me big time. So you guys can watch me get owned over and over again tomorrow afternoon about this time. All right, so it's been fantastic hanging out with you guys. It's glad to come back and play. ECML, Isima says, did you stop playing 7 Days to Die? Absolutely not. No, never, never will I ever stop playing that game. I love that game. I love that game. It is so fun. I could play that game all day, every day. I could be playing it right now. I could be playing it every second of every day. But of course, you know, my hygiene might get really stinky. You know, I'll get really wife aggro. I might have to move out because, you know, she kicked me out because I'm not taking care of my kids and not taking care of the IRL stuff. But I will be playing some 7 Days to Die on, let's see, Wednesday, Thursday night. I'll be doing a Thursday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to play it probably all night long. I was thinking of doing Fallout 4 and then 7 Days to Die, but we got a bunch of stuff to do in 7 Days to Die, so I'm probably going to play it all night long on Thursday. So make sure to tune in for that tomorrow night. But tonight's going to be Fallout 4 modded. And I have a special, I'm going to have just Thursday night be 7 Days to Die night, because I do love that game. We're building a massive, awesome compound. We got a whole bunch of awesome people in there building all sorts of neat stuff, which I can't even wait to go see, which is cool because we have our own private server. So I do love playing it. Don't worry, I do play it quite often. How are you so good at this game? I have played games since they started. I played Pong when it dropped. Some people say they're the original gamer. Nah. Right here, the OG, the original, the number one, the one that started it all. I played the very first gaming system, the Odyssey, when it came out in the early 70s. Yes, I am old. I'm dating myself, but I'm not that old. I have some members in my guild who are in their 70s and 80s and who can smoke me left and right. They could own me big time. If I went one-on-one with them in PUBG or something like that, they could own me. Big time. I don't judge people by their age, where they come from, what their background is. I don't care anything like that. I only judge people on their actions. So if you're awesome, you're awesome. If you're an a-hole, you're an a-hole. That's the way you are. I don't care where you come from. Those are your actions speak louder than anything else that's about you, I find. I try to be a good guy. I try to do what I love to do every day, and that's why I'm probably a little bit better at games, is because I love doing it. When you have a passion for something, you have a tendency to really get involved in it. And let me go ahead and just give you guys a little bit of flashbacks. You guys ever get that new game? Like a great example is They Are Billions, right? I was playing that game, and I literally started playing it, and it smoked me. I mean, it kicked my butt. Boom! Knocked me out of that game instantly, right? My town was toast. And I'm like, what the heck just happened? I'm usually really good at these games. And you're like, okay, that's it. Now I got to learn this game, right? So you get in there, and this smoked me again, by the way. It annihilated me. But I went in there, and I said, that's it. I'm going to play this game. And then all of a sudden, you look up, and it's been like 4 hours. 4 hours have gone by, and it felt like 10 seconds, right? 10 seconds or a minute or 5 minutes. And you're like, dang, man, just 4 hours went by. That's when you're doing something you love. It's like when you're hanging around with somebody you love, right? You're hanging around with your family, your friends, or whatever, and you're hanging around on the weekend, and for some reason the weekends go 10 times faster than the weekdays, right? Because you go to work and it's like it just drags on forever. But then you're hanging out with your friends, and boom, 5 hours just went by like you were just chilling out, watching the game. You're, eating some food. Maybe you're hanging out, doing a barbecue, whatever it is. Time goes by like that. That's when you know you're doing something you love. Keep trying to do those things every single day. I try to do that. I'll be back, of course, tonight playing some Fallout 4. Got to go get the kids, everybody. So let's go ahead and send the Kismet Love Train to somebody right now. I want you guys to come along with me, make somebody's night, or make somebody's day, actually. So wrapping up, let's do it, everybody. Let's do it. Let's go send them some love. Send them some love right now. Let's do it. Let's see who we got ready to go. Let's go ahead and look up here. Let's look up here. Too many wires. Too many wires running over here. Dark Angel backing me up. Thanks so much for that mod backup, Dark Angel. Let's see who we got. We got anybody who's on right now who we can send some love to. Now, one of my favorite things to do, of course, send what I call the Kismet Love Train out to people. Now, when I first started streaming a few years ago, almost 3 years now, 3 years, it would be 3 years this year in June, what happened was people would raid people, and they would raid, like, mean raids. They would go and they would, like, be evil, right, to other people. They'd put them down. They'd go in and disrupt their stream and all that kind of stuff. I said, you know what? That's not the kind of streamer I want to be. I want to make somebody's day. I want to make them smile and feel good about themselves and maybe even become a little bit of a better streamer because they're a little bit more inspired. And you guys have the power. You guys have the power to go with me tonight and make somebody's day. So let's go ahead and see who we can find that we can show some love to. Who do we got? Who do we got? We want to show some love to. Da-da. Who do we got? Oh, what's with these reruns? Everybody's in reruns. Nobody live stream anymore. Gotta live stream, people. Reruns. Though I do have people asking me to do reruns on mine too. So if I start doing reruns, you know, the pot calling the kettle black. Oh, let's go ahead and do return love. That's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and return love to somebody. I hope he gets his partnership soon. I know he's been out there showing lots of love to people. This is Drunk Enough. If you like watching people build, he is amazing. He's an amazing builder, incredibly great at 7 Days to Die. We're going to go over to Drunk Enough. We're going to show him some love. I want you guys to drop that Kismet love right into his channel.